12%, 12% of the show was paid
Right.
for. The rest of
Right.
us all, and then of course the booker, he got the biggest part, which we don't care. You get
Yeah.
$1,000, but we're like, well, that's the next one. Oh, next one didn't do as good. Only did 55 grand. Only 55 grand. so you get paid a little less, but you always got paid good. And I said, that's how you basically do this thing as an independent, is you got to pre-sell. And
Yes.
we're having an event October 7th at my high school that I teach at. And we're a small school, got 270 kids. They said, we got to find ways to raise money. I said, have a wrestling match. A wrestling match. Because they all know I wrestled and everything. And they said, I remember I watched you. I was a little kid. I said, you weren't even born when I was. So they said, well, how can we do it? I said, it's very simple. We just sit there. We tell about the event. We start pre-selling tickets. We get people in there, go to all these different businesses around town. Say, listen, $200 donation be fantastic. We'll put a banner up here for you, put it in a book and everything like that. And we'll give you 10 tickets. 10 tickets, yeah. Yeah, $200, $20 a ticket, ringside. Ringside. Yeah, bring your family. Give it to some of your best customers, whatever. But we got to pre-sell it. And people I got, that's the principal and the wife and everything like that. They think it's like on TV. I said, no. They were trying to get we're going to hire a DJ to come play the music. I said, no, don't do any of that. We booked it. We pay a certain fee for the wrestling ring to show up and the wrestlers. We got to get them to sign a contract. No, you don't do that. That's the booking guy. That's the guy. He's doing that. He's got the whole event. He's got the whole show. He's bringing the package.
Right.
All we're doing is supplying a room. The rest of it, we got to sell tickets. That's all we got to do. You ain't got to do any advertising except on Facebook. So we got Facebook we go to. But I said, y'all making it too complicated, because she's thinking they coming down, big music and everything. The guy's got all this, yay. I said, no, they're going to come out of that dressing room right there. There'll probably be some chubby fat guy who basically wants to be a wrestler. He can do a few things. There'll be a couple guys who are fairly good. We had to try to get a big name, and of course, our big name guy had to cancel on us. So I said, well, we're selling the event. We're not selling individual wrestlers. Next time, maybe,
Right.
But this time, if we break even, hey, we got our name out there. People know about us, stuff like that. So I'm thinking, I said, well, we'll just do best case. If we can come out, if we pull in $4,000, they'll be giddy, because it's going to cost us $2,000 to put the show on. We bring in $4,000. You got $2,000.
Right.
Fun. We had a joy. Stuff like. But I said, don't make it harder than it is. And they just, of course, they're marks. They don't understand. They think it's we need an announcer. I said, I can do the announcer. I mean,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, I can do all that stuff. I said, well, you'll do that? I said, yes. We're trying to raise money, not spend money. So it's that's about the best way, I think, up there, especially because y'all do a lot of firefighter stuff and stuff like that. Y'all really support your fire. All our stuff down here, the firefighters are basically paid for by the county and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
They get paid good money. But up there, they do a lot of fundraising for charitable.
Yep.
They have the Catholic group up there and all this stuff. We don't have that down here. We got, we have to kind of come to that idea a little bit. But it's pretty good. I said, yeah, shoot, y'all come down to this event they have it at the Hilton in Charlotte, and some guys are going to be there selling their stuff. I said, it's nothing but a yard sale, because they're all standing there. Hey, you want to buy my picture? Yeah, sure. Buy your picture. $10. Thank you. Get a picture with you? Well, that cost you $5. Chip. There you go. And fans come out like crazy. But all the guys are so old now they can't work. And the guys we could hire, they want big money. I'm like, can you take a bump? Well, no, I don't work. You're not coming. Well, man, I could use the paycheck. I said, I can use the guy that can take a bump. I said, I said, people aren't coming to watch you and smile, because the ones that's coming were not even alive when you retired. They don't know who the heck you are. Nobody to them. I know. I'm a realist. I was a middle road guy that tried to enhance the match. That's what I did. And I got started late in life. So you don't start at 30 and think you're going to do all this, be a star.
Right.
They asked me straight out, why do you want to do this? I said, I need a job. I said, I need a job. I said, the job situation at the time was like terrible. There's no jobs. And I had applied everywhere in the world and they weren't hiring. And my dad had got sick, came home, and basically I was out of work. So I had, want to be a wrestler. Huh. So my dad said, is that the employment office? Yeah, go to the employment office. They had a microfiche dish. They didn't have a computer. They had a microfiche dish. You pull it and
I still use that for work, by the way, microfiche. I have to go if I have to go in the office and do some research on stuff that's not online, I do have to go there at least once a month to go into my office to look.
So they didn't download anything back then. It wasn't downloaded. It was all in files. You stick. I'm looking at it. Well, there it is. Want to be a wrestler? Tag team, mixed matches, 6-man tag. Had all the matches you did, and must be fit, stuff like that. So bring $200. So I brought $200 to Charlotte, North Carolina. Paid it to the guy at the door. I said, well, you know, I've worked already. I worked back in the late 70s with IWA, and they didn't care. So what? They hear it all the time. That's why I knew. I said, you've probably heard this before. I've wrestled. I worked with guys who were really professionals, and they taught me a lot, but I haven't done it in about 3 years. And so they said, sign it, get over there. So it's 40 guys and me. And I'm like, holy cow, what are we going to do? And so he said, I have knee surgery scheduled that week. I'm like, they're going to run us just like to run people off in football. When you have football tryouts for high school, you know, everybody to death. At the end of the day, you find out who you got. So by the time we did all the stuff we had to do up and down the stairs, you know, Bojangles Arena, which was a Charlotte Coliseum then, up and down the stairs, knees swelling up like crazy. I watch a young guy go to the top like he's a racehorse. Zoom, zoom, push him. Zoom, zoom, 2 push-ups. Zoom, zoom. I'm like, how many is that? He said, I got 9. I got 9 too. So I lied. So I decided, I'm not doing all that crap. I said, that's bull, because what they're going to do to us is get us in the ring a little bit and then try to work us over. You know, not beat us up, but you know, you're dead tired. You can't. There's no way you're going to beat the guy in the ring in case somebody goes weird and wants to fight. So they got all these pro wrestlers. I get there, I look at them and say, my gosh, Jerry Briscoe. What am I going to do? Because that was kind of like a wrestling hero, you know, because amateur wrestler, you know. And also look at Mike Rotundo. Oh, gosh, that guy just came in. He's brand new. He just came out of Syracuse. He's just finished the playoffs. You know, he's like, he's in shape. Here I am, a 30-something-year-old guy who hasn't worked out in a while because I was in sales, selling insurance. I was strong, but I wasn't ready. And the first thing he did says, you, come here. Called me Salisbury because I kept telling him, what was his name? Gene Anderson. I'm from Salisbury, North Carolina. I said, you Salisbury? Yeah. Your dad's in the legislature. I said, yeah. He's right over there. Biden. He's right over there. I said, but don't worry about it. He's not going to do anything. Yeah, because you know they don't know he's a legislator. And so I got in the ring with Rotundo, and he said, "Get down, referee's position." So I dropped down to referee's position. I said, "Mike, before you start, I have knee surgery on Thursday. So I'm just going to do a little workout, see if I knew how to move or something." Well, first thing he did was get down here, yank that thing up. I said, "Oh." Pulled my knee all the way up. I was like, holy cow, back off, buddy. I started moving around a little bit, scooted out and got away. And I looked at him and said, hey, I got a knee problem. He said, I don't care. Okay. So this way it's going to be. And I said, man, I didn't come here to get beat up. I didn't come here to get a fight. I come here for a job. So get out there. And so all of a sudden, Jerry Briscoe said, let me have him.
Oh, Lord.
What am I mad at me for? I'm a nice guy. So he sit there and he gets his stand up. I said, okay. I said, listen, I got a knee. He said, I ain't gonna mess with your knee. I ain't gonna shoot on you. I said, okay, cool. We'll just work a little. So we locked up and he went for a shot and I countered. We went to the ground and I fell just right. I got him by the knee. He's got me by the knee. We're holding on to each other. Next time we worked our way up, all of a sudden he's got my head. I got his head. So we're squeezing like crazy. And it's hurting. I ain't letting go though, because if you let go, he'll break your neck. So I'm holding on. He said, "I'll let go if you let go." I said, "I let go." And he let go. He said, all right. So I got to get out. And Rotundo says, put him back over here. What am I doing now? I said, you want to stand up this time? He said, yeah, stand up. So he come at me. And as soon as he came at me, I went to the ground quick. And I put my hand in his crotch, gave it a good squeeze, and flipped it over, came on top, and I slapped the mat 3 times as fast as I could. I crawled out of the ring. Like, get back up here. I said, no. Right down. Gotcha. Hey, I'm done. Y'all had your fun. So I started to walk off, and Anderson looked at me and said, call me Thursday. I said, okay. And so from that point on, I started. Andy Scott was one of the bookers.
Right.
I sat down with Sandy. He said, Ligon, why do you want to do this? I said, well, I need a job, Sandy. I said, I've been watching you on TV all my life. I love the drop kicks. I can do that. I was a gymnast. I can do these things. I said, but I got to be taught. I don't know when to do them. So I don't know the psychology of it. I said, I'm athletic. That's it. He said, all right. Be in Winston-Salem next October so-and-so. I said, okay. Winston-Salem, took mom and dad, whole family. My Down syndrome aunt was with me. And we went up there, and she was a big Ric Flair fan. And so got up there, and the first match they're going to have is going to be against the Masked Destroyers. It was Hercules Hernandez and the other guy, and Jody Hamilton. They
were the assassins together, right? No. Yeah.
So that was going to be my first match, and I knew that. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. So my aunt came back. I said, let's see to meet Ric Flair. Ric Flair. She's like going crazy. I said, come here. You can't go back in the dressing room to see him. And all of a sudden, the crack in the curtain was there, and you could see Ric Flair. And I didn't know Rick from nobody. He don't know me from nobody. He knows I'm just a jobber guy standing there. Right. So he kind of got my eye, and I kind of looked at him and I looked at him. I knew he had a soft part for this sort of thing.
Right.
He come running out the curtain. He said, "Is that my girl there?" And I just loved on her like crazy. She just, she's Down syndrome. She had an IQ of 45, but he just did the right thing. And I'll never forget him for that, because she was basically my mom's sister.
Right.
And she was a little older than I was, but we were raised together, separate, a few blocks down the street. So I'll never forget that. And the day she died, we were at her bedside, and she had Ric Flair's picture on the wall. Boyfriend. I said, yeah, boyfriend. So he passed away that day. So we never forget Rick for that. That's everybody can say what they want to about Ric Flair, but he had a heart for the right things. But other stuff, women, he's crazy about girls. But he liked children. He liked people like her. So
yeah. I've heard that he did have a soft heart at times, like when it was situations like that from several people.
For a child that's in need, he has a soft heart for him. From what I experienced. Now, he might be a jerk everywhere else in the world. He was always nice to me. Yeah. I can only go by what people are with me. I hear all these other stuff. I go, hey, the guy I know. That's not the guy I know. So it may be true. It's just not the guy.
Well, the media does not. The media likes controversy. They don't like to hear good. They don't like to hear good stories. You know what I mean? They like to hear, because it's garbage is what sells. So
that's how I got started with. I did the IWA in 1976 with Johnny Powers and Bulldog Brower.
Right. Okay.
Bill Mascaras had just left, and they were starting all over again with a small group. Dino Bravo.
Was Gino Brito there at the same time with
Dino Bravo? I don't know about
you. Okay, because I thought they tagged there, but I could be maybe it was in the same area.
When I went to try out, I'm a 167 pound wrestling coach at a high school. And all my wrestlers said, "Coach, you can try out." And I said, "You crazy? I'm 167 pounds. I just went to a tournament with you guys as a dare and wrestled 2 guys who were 190 something pounds." I'm like, "Gee whiz." And they grabbed you and was like, "Okay, this is going to take long at all." I had one guy was Pan Am champion. He was also the wrestling coach for University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And he come out there, first thing he did was rough. I'm on the ground. got me a tight waist, turned me because it's freestyle. I didn't understand freestyle, and they
Right.
roll. Every time you roll over, they get points. I'm like, what is going on here? Points, points, points. I'm like, what the heck? And finally, I got pinned. And it's just a matter of they touch. Bam, you're done. Can't like, no, you're
Gotcha.
over. And then this guy was the first guy I had, I beat. And then had the guy who knew what he was doing. I said, gee whiz. And then the third guy was a black champion, the black colleges of North America and everything. They were the CIAA or something like that. He was the champion for them.
Right.
And I grabbed his leg and I tried to pick it up. It didn't move. It's just holy cow. He was like Superman. He beat me 5-2 or something like that. I felt like I did all right. But he was 190, 200 something pounds. I was 160 pounds. I was like, there's no way I'm going to beat these guys. But they knew how to freestyle wrestle. I had no clue what was going on there. I said, well, I learned something today. I like freestyle. I just got to learn how to do it. And it was more like freestyle to amateur wrestling. You combine pro in there, it's sort of like a little bit of both put together. And so,
Right.
yes, it's just, a different style. Because that was in school where you didn't have satellite dish. We didn't have cable down in North Carolina. We had an antenna.
Yep.
So you didn't see all this stuff. There was no Olympics of wrestling. It was like, you didn't see this. But now, pull up anything I want to right online. How do you do this? Pop, 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 boom. There you go.
Yep.
This.
It's amazing.
Well, so much better advantage now for kids. It's ridiculous. I said, I coached wrestling down at this little school, and I had 3 boys that came out the first time, and it was about 12 of them, and all of a sudden there was only 3 after Christmas. And the 3 that was still there, they just came on because they were disqualified for grades the first half. Mm-hmm. So all the guys I was hoping would be with me the second half, they all petered out and left. So I had 3 rookies, and we went to a conference tournament, and one guy won bronze, one won silver, and one won gold. And I emailed back to the principal. I said, well, we're not the biggest wrestling team in the world, but we're the only team at this school that's ever won anything. We've only been in business for 4 years. Mm-hmm. The basketball team's never won a basketball game. But we had a coach that kept saying, I'm the greatest coach. Everybody, ask anybody, I'm a great basketball coach. So you're 0-16 2 years in a row. I mean, you got to change your game plan because it ain't working. And we'd won a couple matches, but we only had 5-6 guys on the team at a time. There's no way we're going to win. So I go, okay, we got 6 guys going out here tonight. If y'all win 4 out of 6, we won. That's how you got to look at it. Team-wise, no, we didn't. They automatically got 8 forfeits. We've lost already. But I'm going to look at how you do against a guy. And that's how I said, that's the only way I can build them up anyway, because we got to beat again, coach. I said, well, when you got 14 guys and we got 5, we're not going to win.
Right.
You can pin all of our guys, and they could just barely win by 1 point. They still win. So that's just but we won the last 3. I said, hey. So we're going to recognize them in 2 weeks when they come back to school. I had a poster made of all of them. So I have a 20-by-16 picture hanging in the hallway, the first of all our champions, and give them some recognition because they need that. I said, this year, the rest of the school, we got to get more guys out. So the basketball team, we got new basketball coaches, have never coached basketball in their life. They said, I don't know how well we're going to do. I said, you can't do any worse than the guy last year and the year before. He didn't win anything. If you win 1 game, you better than he is. I never thought about it that way. I said, you got to think right, man. Now, I want my 3 guys that won the conference, I want them to win in regionals. They don't have to win the whole thing. They just got to win 1 bronze, come back with a bronze regional. Yay, I would be happy. But they'll be better. So we'll find out. Hopefully some other kids will come up too. So. Yeah.
I hope so. I think I love amateur wrestling. I wrestled in school myself, and I wrestled 3 out of the 4 years. I think my 4th year, I ended up getting a job, and I just didn't go back, but I absolutely loved it,
Oh,
and, I still watch. I'll watch the Olympics today
oh,
when there's wrestling or, the collegiate, every year I'll watch. So it's
good
to me,
stuff.
it's very disciplinary, and it's an amazing sport if you
Oh,
really, take the time and learn it.
it's tough. I tell all the kids, I said, "You a soccer player?" Yeah. I said, "You got for wrestling." How's that going to help me? I said, "You have to turn those hips and kick that ball.
Yeah.
In wrestling, you're having to turn your hips while somebody's resisting you. You
Mhm.
turn those hips, next thing you know, you're out. It's going to fire up that kick." I said, "Baseball players, you got to be able to cross legs over. In wrestling, you learn how to. In football, you got to learn how to tackle somebody. Wrestling's all about tackling. I mean, you got to tackle a guy, take him down. I never lost many guys when I tried to tackle in football because I knew how to tackle a guy. Because I just pretend like I was wrestling, go in and grab a guy, take him down, boom. I wasn't trying to knock him down like they do now. They all want to haul off and hit somebody. I said, "Oh, you grab the guy and take him down. You don't need to knock his head off, his helmet go flying. It looks cool, but sometimes the guy keeps on going. I
Yeah.
grab it, I'm holding on. We're going down right here. That wasn't impressive. He didn't get the first down. That's all about mine. He ain't get the first down. That's the way it
Right.
is. He's on my side, boom, he's going down. I'm not going to hit him hard and kind of hurt him. I'm just going to take him down. And that's why we get so many concussions today. The guys are going into their helmets trying to, we tackled with our face guards. We were taught face into the chest.
Right.
That's tackle. We didn't have any concussions. No concussions in high school. We didn't have the knee problems they have now. They're not being taught properly. My coach in college said, never had a knee problem in the 40s. He played in the 40s. There were no knee problems. We did squats every day, every day. I said, really? He said, squat, 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 squat. We were told, don't do that because it's bad for your knees. He said, they don't need problems on my team. I said, might be something to that. They didn't use weights. They just used their body weight. I said, that's good. Well, what do you want to talk about? We already started talking about something. You can edit
Talk
this
about
thing.
a lot of stuff, man. I mean, no, man. I think this is good stuff. I could use this stuff, but I'm gonna keep. I think I'm gonna keep it in. But I want to know if you were interested in professional wrestling as a youth. That's one thing I want to know.
I got a picture of me. I'll see if I can find it.
Sure.
It's just a picture of when I was 5 years old, standing on an ottoman, pair of whitey tighties. And I wasn't thinking about wrestling at the time, but I was standing there, yeah. I was just a little 5-year-old little boy. And
Right.
I was living in Charleston, South Carolina. And Channel 3, I believe I might have been Channel 2, Channel 5. But it's down there. Big Bill Ward was the announcer. Of course, he was the announcer everywhere because the tape was sent out or film was sent out. It wasn't tape
Right.
back. Film was sent out, and you watched Big Bill Ward. It wasn't live. It was
Mhm.
all. It was all. We didn't know because we were just kids, but we used to watch wrestling. George and Sandy Scott was sort of like Johnny Weaver. That was the guys you watched. They were rookies. They were just starting out. And
I got a Johnny Weaver autograph hanging on my wall. So
Johnny was cool. I'll tell
yeah.
you. Tell me about Johnny. But that was who we watched, and um, the uh, Brute Bernard, and Brute Bernard was like, this guy's scary. But I never went to a match. Never been to a match till I got to college. But I watched it every week. I watched wrestling. Turn on. They had one channel. You had 1 hour. That was all you had.
Yeah.
The award. We'll see you next week. Championship wrestling. They'd go away and can we go to a wrestling match, Mama? No, it cost 50 cents. We're not going. That's money. Mom was making like 60 cents an hour. So
Wow.
Dad was a pharmacist, but he made $6,000 a year. That was money then. Our house payment was $40, and it wasn't. That was just a normal house, a little
Wow.
cinder block home. So when you talk about going to have a meal at home, if it costs more than $1 for all four of you, it's like, waste that food, eat it. You ate food because you didn't wait. Shrimp was always a specialty.
Right.
Once a week we'd have shrimp, and it might have been $1 for all the shrimp. Like we wasted. You eat all that stuff. So we'd eat it. Only got so many because there's only so many in a box. So that was just little things. Rice was big, stuff like that, because rice filled you up. So But yeah, that's what I watched it and said, man, I want to be a professional wrestler one day. When I moved up to North Carolina when I was 15 years old, mom and dad got a job up here because he lost his business from the riots they had in Charleston, South Carolina, 64, 63, 64. And so they tore everything up. So he said, I got to find a job. So he basically called around, called all the government VAs and everything. He said, there's a VA hospital needing an employee pharmacist, Salisbury, North Carolina. He says, and it's going to pay him $6,000 a year, which was what he worked hours and hours for to end up with his own store. So he said, I'm not losing money. So he rented a hotel room, which cost him like $1 or $2 a day downtown Salisbury. And he'd stay there for a year. And then we moved up. So we got my ninth grade year ended and going into 10th grade. My brother came up. We all moved up. Well, what about all his friends back? I said, got to go to work. You got to get a job. Let's go. So you didn't worry about stuff like that. Parents like, we don't want to leave our children's school. They're so happy there. Get over it. I moved up there, and guess what? I made new friends.
Yeah.
And I went out for football because never played sports before. So he said, you need to play on some sports because you get to know the guys and girls and stuff. So, okay. So I wasn't an aggressive guy, but I met one guy named Leonard, and Leonard was a lean built guy, about 155 pounds, but he was as tough can be. And Leonard took a liking to me. The rest of the guys thought I talked kind of funny because I was from Charleston. I had a black brogue, no, what you call my man? You said, you just talk that way, you don't. And you sound like a black person. I said, no, black people sound like me because we just integrated. That year.
Right.
Never had blacks in our schools at all. So everyone I'm talking, everybody looking at each other like, We had them on the football team. I said, hey, because I was raised in Charleston, South Carolina, which is 60% black. So it wasn't strange to me. Hey, how you doing? And I want to make somebody feel comfortable. And turned out to be everybody loved each other. A team was formed. And everybody was brothers. We sat there, and it was new because most of these guys never spoke to black people before, and vice versa. And now here we are on the same team, looking around like, who's gonna break? But nobody did. We all just came together as a team. We had our 50th anniversary a couple of years ago, and all the football teams showed up, and it was like seeing your long lost brother you hadn't seen in a long time. Black and white, all, hey man, gosh, remember that time we did this? Yeah, remember that time. It's just like having a family reunion. But yeah, just got into high school wrestling. I thought it was going to be like on TV. The guy said, hey, you got a wrestling team? Dude, I get to be a pro wrestler. And I walked out there as a mat. And I'm like, what's that? That's a wrestling mat. Where's the poles? What are you talking about? I said, on TV, they got poles. No. Never seen amateur wrestling. I never knew there was such thing. It was on TV.
Right.
And my high school didn't have it in Charleston. South Carolina didn't have wrestling. So I took a liking to it. I was tied my first year. I tied one guy. That's it. Had one match tied. It was 2-2. And from that point on, the guys who had experience kept teaching me stuff. My junior year, I was okay. And my senior year, I'd gotten pretty good. And then after that, I graduated. I went to college, and everybody knew I liked to wrestle and stuff like that. And I went out for football, got injured. Finally, just, tore my knee. And everybody said, I'm done. So my ankle got messed up. So I said, screw it. I guess wrestling, football is not my thing. And the coach said, you did some wrestling in high school? I said, yeah. So he was my professor. He said, listen, I got to teach soccer and wrestling. I know nothing about wrestling. You like soccer? I said, no, don't want to have a thing to do with it. He says, you teach wrestling, I'll get you out of soccer. I'll give you credit for soccer. Sounds like a plan to me. I get to teach what I love. And the second semester, he did the same thing for me. And we had a basketball team which averaged 103 points per game. No 3-point shot, no clock. But we're 103 points a game. So they run all the time. Zoom, 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 zoom. And we're like, holy cow. So the second part of the semester in the spring, the basketball players had to come out and take class and soccer and wrestling. Well, they skipped soccer because basketball. But all of a sudden, basketball's over. Got wrestling class. And all of a sudden, we got 6'9", 7'1". We had a 7'1" guy, 2 6'10" guys, 6'11", a couple of 6'6"ers. I'm like, this is gonna be. If I get these guys hurt wrestling, I'm gonna get killed by the professor. So they got him out there. We showed him how to do some moves, and showing a 6'8" guy and a 6'11" guy how to do a sit out and a switch, long arms, hips go out, boom, and leverage like crazy because they put their back into it. Whack! Hey, on the shoulder. Let's just go at it. I don't think we can do that. Yeah, we can. We'll be careful. Screw it. Let's do it. So let them go at it. And as much running as they did all the time, 45 seconds on the mat, they're sucking wind. And I took a note. Running doesn't help you wrestle because they were gassed. I'm like, how can y'all be gassed? Y'all can run. I can take off running like now, but I can't breathe. I'll not make my boys run. I said, I'll just get them on the mat. We'll wrestle. And that's how you're going to get in shape. You can run after practice a little bit if you want to, get some cardio in. But wrestling is the only way getting ready for wrestling. I've seen guys carry things, which is better. Carry something 30 feet, 40 feet, put it down so I pick you up. That's a cardiovascular thing with muscles screaming for air. Where running, you get used to it. You become better at running, so you don't really tax yourself. You can run faster and stuff like that to tax yourself. But once you've got the mile down to 5 minutes, who's going to go for 4? Nobody I know.
Right.
That plays the sport. Now, if they're runners, they would, but they go running up. Hey, they've got 5 down. I got this. They've conditioned themselves for 5 minutes. Wrestling, you can't get in better condition until you wrestle. Because I take anybody as a runner, stick them on the mat. Just go. What happened? I can't breathe. I said, I know. I thought you're in shape. Shut up. So there's little things like that I learned from over the years of watching. But I love wrestling. I watched it on TV and I loved it and want to be one. And my friends in high school, they saw me do my first match at my high school. I brought it in to raise money for the school, raised $2,000 for them. And all my buddies came out and said, Ligon, you said you were going to be a wrestler. We didn't believe it. But you did what you said you got. I said, I always try to do what I say I'm going to do. And I said, it was like a dream, but I made it a happen. So it wasn't just a wish. So I tried out and I did it. So I had fun doing it and enjoyed it. I'm all broken up now, man. Shoulder replacement. Just had it done about 8 months ago. Couldn't raise my arm to move the mouse on the desk. So finally I said, yeah, it's a reverse shoulder replacement. I said, that feels weird thinking about it. Reverse shoulder, yeah. So, but one week later, I'm like, holy cow, this don't hurt no more. I can put my hand above my head. I can now start bench pressing a little bit. Can't do a lot because it will dislocate if you don't watch it. That takes about a year or two to build them back into it, make it packed. But trimmed down a little bit, lost about 20 pounds now. Trying to get down to a 200-pound lean body because I don't need to be carrying 248 pounds around with me. And I was staying steady at 235, and all of a sudden I blew up to 248. I went, crap, I got to start lifting weights because the shoulder can't do anything. So it's like running, I'm not going to do. I'm going to lift weights to make the muscles burn calories 24/7. Running, you burn while you run. And I'm not going to run that long. So I run up the street. Thank you very much. Had enough of that. Let's do some weights. Pick some weights up. Put it back down. Pick it back up. At the end of the time, you're like, calories were burned. I got a device in my workout room called a tonal. LeBron James and all of them support it and everything. And uses magnetic forces. So when you pull it, it's magnetically resisting you. And you can program that sucker. It says 25-pound, dumbbell. I'm pushing on. I said, that's more than 25 pounds. It feels like it's close to 40. So I'm doing 25-pound dumbbells. How's that? All of a sudden, number 9, like shaking like a leaf. You got a button on it you can mash and make it where it gets harder as it goes up, or you can make it where it gets harder as it comes down. That's all kind of things you can trick your body with. And tricking your body is the key. You got to trick it. Because if it gets used to doing weightlifting, you have to change it because you won't grow, you won't strengthen up, you won't burn calories like you should. But
Right.
it's just amazing how it works. But the body's an amazing thing. God created something that was like, figure this out. That's what we've been doing ever since, trying to figure out how to make this body work better than it does. And I think the guys back in the old days, they're probably a lot stronger than we are. Because I said, they survived a lot longer than we do. And we're dying at 75, 70, 80 years old now. The athlete of he's a great fan. They died of a heart attack. I don't know what happened. Thought he was in great shape.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know when you're going to go, you go.
Yeah. It's
great guy today.
Yeah, Adrian Street died today, and that was I had spoken to him recently, not on the podcast. We were kind of arranging for him to come on the podcast, and we didn't never finalize anything. And then this morning, as soon as I woke up, I logged into my computer at work and just saw that the first thing within like 5 minutes of punching in the clock. It was I couldn't believe it.
He came on with Crockett.
Yeah,
I arrested him. He talented guy, nice guy, but you had to get past the gimmick.
Yeah.
Because is he was he going to do it, take you down, beat you, and then give you a kiss? Not me, buddy. But his wife was just as nice. He was a nice man. He was very quiet. He wasn't the character you saw in the ring. Was not from the outside. Right. Very quiet. Right. And but I'm sorry, boy, he is pushing the envelope. Back today, he'd be a hero. Back then, it was like, who is this guy? But he wrestled in Shelby, North Carolina. The first time I ever saw him, I wrestled in the ring against him, and I went, "Wow, I'm just going to try to do everything he wants to do because he won't do." But then he did a big move and boom. I was like, 1, 2, 3, thank you. Have a nice day. So it was fun. The only wrestled him, I think, twice.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a good experience. He was a very nice man.
I have here that you trained under Nelson Royal.
Nelson?
Yeah.
I had a gym for 25 years. 1987.
Okay.
Started in 87, 2012. And I was Emily Domain. The building I had got Emily Domain. I was renting a building, so I didn't get any benefit from the eminent domain, but that's a long story. But when I first got the gym, my friend who owned it was basically going to shut it down. So I'm shutting it down. So why? He said, I'm not making no money. I can't feed my family. I'm not making any money. It's a little small gym. It had a set of dumbbells that was just put together. It had some homemade equipment. Because back then there wasn't, Nautilus was out, but nobody could afford Nautilus. But they had people would actually, put cables and make the machines themselves, weld and all stuff, and no science to it at all. It was just plain Jane, cable lift up and down, make arm do this. And so I had a couple benches, incline bench, and he said, I owe $30,000. I said, well, I ain't got $30,000. I just started wrestling. I was doing okay, but I ain't risking 30 grand. I said, this could be my way of retiring out. So I've been wrestling about 3 years. And it was like 1987. And he said, I got to sell it. I got to get rid of it. I got to close it down. I said, let me have it. He said, well, how am I going to get out? I'll pay the payments. You owe $30,000 to the bank, right? I'll make the payments. He said, well, what if you quit paying them? I said, you're no worse off than you were. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, if I do make all the payments, though, the last of it, it's mine. He said, oh, you can have it. I said, okay. So it took me about 3 years. We paid it down, got that payment off. And Nelson Royal, I think this was like 89. It was 88. It was first of 88. I'd gone to see him, and because I knew him, I'd sold insurance in the area one time, 10 years earlier. And I knew him from saying hey to him and met him a couple of times, but he knew me from watching on TV. And I went by and see him. I said, Nelson, you need to come out. You need to come out and work out, get back into wrestling because he was still a fit. He says, I said, come work out. Be good for your knees. Be good for your shoulders. So I invited him to come to my gym. He had to drive like 25 miles across the back country. And he come to my gym. He said, oh, you got a nice little gym here. He was being complimentary. I said, ain't that nice? So, but it had the stuff he needed. And he started lifting weights, doing the machines and everything like that. And next thing you know, he says, I think I want to get back in the ring. I said, you do? He said, yeah.
This was 89, you said, correct?
Around that time. He come and got back in the ring and wrestled in the, I think, 88, 80. It's all around that time. But he went and got into the Crockett Tag Team Cup, which was, I think, 89. Was that 89?
I think it ran 87, 88, I think. 86, 87, 88, I believe. Like those 3 years in a row.
There was the one that the Thunderfoots ran. I don't know what year that was.
I think. Oh, hang on. I will look it up.
I never can find it because they got the thing edited so much.
I was looking. Let's see.
It was the first Crockett.
I think it was 88. Yeah, I think because I was going to ask you how that gimmick came about with you being a part of it.
Well, anyway, Nelson got in and he wrestled.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to have his own little show thing, and he did that, and it didn't go very well.
You're talking about Atlantic Coast? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. Okay.
I came in to wrestle. They needed somebody to wrestle. I come showing up, and they said, "You got a suit and tie?" I said, "Well, I got a coat." I said, well, "Give me a coat, give me a tie." The guy that's supposed to do the announcing didn't show up, so here I'm handing the microphone. I know nobody. I said, "Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you can pull up on a video. It's kind of faded out and everything. It's got me and Nelson talking." And Nelson had a guy back at him, and they tried running it. They did okay, but it takes a lot of money to do TV, and that's what they didn't have enough of. You don't have TV, you don't have anything. You don't have the big arenas, you don't have anything. So, but anyway, the Thunderfoot thing came about. Me and Joel Deaton have been working, not together. I knew Joel. Hey, how you doing? Right. Hey, that's it. And he was always crazy, but he was a talented guy. And but one day, they come down to the office and they talk to us. What I do? I don't get booked that much. I'm getting booked fairly regular now because they want hands that will show up. And so I'm sitting there going, okay. Go down to the office. Dusty wants to see you. And there's Joel going, what's up? I don't know. What's up? So we sit down and he looks at us. Gentlemen, need you to go to Kansas City. Okay. You're going to be Thunderfoots. What's Thunderfoot? What is that? So he said, I have a loaded boot, but you're not supposed to use it. Don't be using a loaded boot. Okay. We're going to fly out there. You're going to be Central States champion. So, y'all will do it? Yeah, we'll do it. So we're going to fly out there, wrestle in Central States champion, come home, right? We fly out there. These two guys are little Mexican guys, Latino guys, and they were small, nice guys. Well, we got to go in there and we got to beat them. We got to pound them, boom, 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 over. Do it in 45 seconds. That's kind of disrespectful, What the boss is telling you, knock it out. So we get there, fly in. They don't have a clue what's going to go on. They think they're Central State champions. They are. We go in there and say, listen, they putting us over. No one told us. I said, we just got told. But they'll probably do some kind of comeback thing where you have we didn't know. We're guessing. Because that's what they normally do. You go in and beat somebody and then they have a rematch. So we go in there and they start pounding on us, boom, 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 and all of a sudden, boom, close up, don't. Knock them out. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And we felt bad because they were nice guys.
This was Billy Two Eagles and Joe Lightfoot?
I guess.
They were wrestlers
one time in my life. That was it.
When I was doing research,
I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
when I was doing research, that's the match I came across where you guys won the belts. So okay.
they were the like the heroes, and
Right.
here we are, the evil dudes coming in. We beat them, so they put us on a plane the next day, fly us back. Actually, flies all the way back to Charlotte. Get back to Charlotte, we're like, hey, how'd it go? Hey, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. Did you knock him out about no, a little longer than we thought. We went about 2 minutes, but so okay, I need you to get in the car and get your car and then be in Kansas City. You'll work there for the next several months. And I'm like, I don't have a wife or family or anything. So I'm like, dude, I just get in the car and go. So I got in my car. Boom, we got our stuff loaded up. We took off. They gave us uniforms, the whole thing, nice 3 sets. So we're driving all the way across. I'm following Joel because no GPS. Okay, it says you're 95. No, you're not. No, you're 7. You're going across 77. Holy cow. So we're down through Missouri, St. Louis. Finally, we get to Kansas City. And it's like, wow, Kansas City. It's a big town. And we'd wrestle in Kansas City, Kansas, where they did the TV taping and everything. But it's a little tiny town. It ain't nothing. Kansas City, Kansas City, Missouri, big town. So we had to find a place to live. I found they sent some other guys out there. We all got together and said, okay, where you want to stay? So we found apartments and stuff. And I stayed with a guy named Todd Champion. And
Yeah.
and he was just starting, but he thought he was the man. I said, Todd, you got to earn your way, buddy. They don't just poof give it to you. He's a big guy,
Yeah.
He was thinking that he's automatically going to go right at the top just because. I said, no, it don't work that way. I said, you got the look, you got everything, but you got to let it work a little bit. But he wanted it right away. I said, oh, he didn't know enough. He didn't know how to do a hip toss. He didn't do it. I said, you don't know enough stuff to do to be a champion. You got to be, win some matches that you're not supposed to win. I said, but he was just rookie. He was like, he only got 4 months in.
Right.
Headlock takeover. It was hard for him because he was a football. He was a lineman. My guy. So we always pick on lineman. He's a lineman. So, but anyway, we stayed with him, and then we stayed out there for about 3 months, and we were barely getting paid $50, $75 a night, driving left and right, boom, 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 boom. And like, holy cow. And all of a sudden we get a phone call. You're going to wrestle in St. Louis, Missouri. You're coming back to Charlotte. What? Yeah, Thunderfoots are coming back to Charlotte. Right. We made it to the majors. Major State's minor league majors. Now, our brains are all like, so we finished up in St. Louis, and I'm so glad we did because snow started coming.
Yeah.
And we're out the door. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. So they had no guaranteed paycheck. So we hit the road. We just got over the mountains, and snow had hit up hard. They got a lot of snow that day. And we get back to Charlotte. I got a ticket on the way home because I was in such a hurry to get home. I was crossed where 77 and 85 meet. I hit there and I said, boom, highway trouble. I said, I'm just on the way home. I've been away for 3 months. He said, I'll lower it down. He gave me a low speed so it wouldn't cost me much. I said, well, thank you, officer. So took it on home, got home, unloaded my car, found like $1,000 in cash sitting in my car where I'd stuffed money away, forgot about it. Get paid, stuff away, so I don't want to spend it. But I forgot about it. Whoa, $1,000. So I like, Mom, look what I found. Well, you need to get me. She took care of all the money. And I'd stay in the basement of my mom and dad's house. And I was on because I didn't want to wake them up. I'd come in at night. I'd go through the back door. And I just had to go the cheapest way I could. And mom and dad they charged me $200 a month rent. But my mom would take that money and put it away. And then when I finally moved away, she gave me all that money she'd put away. I said, that's how my mom and dad were. They didn't want to really, they were charging me, but they were trying to keep me learn how to be responsible with my paycheck and stuff like that. So I had to pay rent. So, but I got rent, I got free food, I got free lights, free everything. I got fed a lot. My mom, I said, well, you feed me off for this. You have something sitting out at night. When I get home late at night, I'd microwave that sucker, go to bed that night. But we came back and we showed up in Greenville, South Carolina, our first match. And Joel had he had wisdom. He understood the background. I'm just a goofy. I'm an athlete. Want to have fun, have a go. He understood the politics of the whole thing. I did. I thought the more tickets you get to the door, the better for the company. But some people get jealous and they don't want you to be successful. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help the company because we get paid commission. So we had a $100,000 night at the arena. We're getting paid $1,000, something like that. Dude, thank you, Rick, for the crowd. Thank you. Always right. Thank the stars because they brought the crowd. I didn't bring the crowd. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, whoever. And that was a thing you did. You thanked the guys who were the headliners. And if the crowd wasn't very good, thanks a lot. Just because it was like a sideways thing. But we sit there and we get to Greenville and it's got a good crowd. Man, we got a good crowd. Yeah, look at this. Hey, no one knows us in our mind because all the tapes were made in Kansas City.
Right.
Satellite was just coming around. TBS Studios was the satellite channel. Nobody had all this stuff.
We got it up here, TBS, believe it or not, pretty early on, and I'm in Connecticut.
So. They were international and national. Yeah. But Channel 3 in Charlotte, you didn't get Channel 3 in Charlotte.
Right.
You didn't get Kansas City in Charlotte.
Right.
But TBS Studios could grab tapes and put them on the air at certain times of night. That middle of the night, pro wrestling from Central States. So we're getting there. We're walking in. They're getting ready to announce. They announced the good guys going, yay! And from parts unknown, unknown weight, unknown vicinity. Well, the Thunderfoots 1 and 2, and all of a sudden, ooh! It's like, wow, it hurt. We're getting booed. Like, what did we do? Joe looked at me and Joe said, we're screwed. That's what I mean, we're screwed. The crowd hates us. That's cheering to us. They hate us. They want to boo us. He said, I'll tell you later. So we get in the ring, we do our thing, boom, 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 boom. And it was a good match and everything. And I don't know if they put us over or we put them over. So we come back tonight and he says, come here, tell you what's going on. Somebody's not happy in the office because we got booed louder than the good guys got cheered. They're going to split us up and send us our separate ways. I said, why would they do that? We're drawing a crowd because their personal pride is more important than the tickets. And they blame the booker, whatever. I said, I'm like, it don't make no sense. I've always tried to do what's best for the company because it ends up helping you in the long run. Right. I hope you be very successful and break millions of dollars. Because one of them said, Gina, I'll pay you to come talk to me. I said, well, you made millions of dollars, but I want you to be successful. And that's always been my. Let's make it. If I'm a part of it, it's got to be successful. And he said, and sure enough, I'd be in South Carolina. Joel would be in Raleigh. They don't want to make us a team no more. They're going to split us up. And they'd occasionally have us come together on TV and beat us.
Yeah.
Everyone on TV. And then all of a sudden we have a match together somewhere else. Went to Crockett Cup, and Joel missed the kick. And missed it so much the crowd saw it. And they repeated the move, which you don't do. You have to come up with a different finish. And, right. And that kind of killed it off right there. And he normally he didn't want to hurt the guy. So he missed the guy, and the guy reacted like he got kicked, that's his mistake. Joe went to kick him, trying to avoid hitting him too hard, and the guy missed him, and he falls back like that.
He still sold it, though he didn't get hit.
He sold it, and everybody saw him miss. So I was like, duh. It's like watching a couple of fights in pro boxing where the guy misses completely and the guy falls. Boom. I guess it was the Jets defensive lineman. What's his name? Buffalo, something.
I'm trying to think of that time period. I don't remember. Yeah.
He wrestled. He fought against a guy that was in our wrestling group with the IWA. That when we went up north and wrestled.
Yeah.
Uh, he boxed against that guy. Now, they didn't tell him that the guy he's getting ready to box didn't know how to box. And the guy that's boxing was told, go out there and take a fall. You're going to get hit, fall down on a guy.
You're talking Derek Dukes?
Derek Dukes.
Derek Dukes. That's what you're referring to, right? Okay.
And Derek looked the part. He good.
Yeah.
He wasn't boxing. He went out there. He's like, swinging, and then the Jets guy swings and misses, and Derek takes a wrestling bump.
Yeah.
And everybody, ugh. Now the Jets guy, defend him a little bit. He didn't know that Derek wasn't trying to kick his butt. He's scared. He was shaking like a leaf. Said he was scared to death because he's a pro football player. He's not a fighter. They were because he's a good-looking guy. I think he got cancer and died eventually, but not too long ago. But he was a nice guy, but he was scared. And it was and we're looking at Derek. Why'd you take a bump for? You get hit. You got. And I had opportunity to do it, but I had to get told. And I said, I had the guy haul off and clock me. Box him a little, give him a couple of shots. Finally, he come down, hit me on the head. And if it hurt, I'm falling down. But there, the guy missed him. And it looked like it looked terrible. You find the video because it's out there. And
it's quite a popular thing, a controversy that happened. I guess a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah.
Hey, if you watch it, you go, yeah, he missed him by a mile. That's what happened in the wrestling match with us. But not the fault. Derek was doing the best. Derek was not a boxer, and I ain't either.
Right.
But I'll take a shot. Because I took many a shot from these guys and everything. Ric Flair gave me the best compliment I ever had from Ric Flair. Because I had a TV match with him, and he liked to chop, He'd chop me, and I was new. I was trying not to make him look bad, and that hold me back a little bit because he had me wrestle where I sit out on him a couple of times and come up, boom, 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 and I was showing him I could wrestle. Ric Flair, okay, he wanted me to do that. He liked it, and so finally he gives me a chop. Pow! He chops me. Pow! I mean, he's laying it in good, which that's my job.
Yeah. But
at the end of that match, we went downstairs. I'm downstairs sitting in the chair. He said, "Where's Ligon at? Come here, Ligon." Instead of all the guys, he said, "See this guy right here? He don't flinch. He took it. The rest of you guys need to watch that match, see how you take a shot. Because all the guys have been doing this, and it hit that knot right there, and Flair hurt his hand sometimes. I put my chest out here. Pow! It's only a sting. I mean, good guy. And so he said, "That's how you do it." And so I said, "Oh, I got a Ric Flair compliment. Yay." But he didn't remember my aunt. He wouldn't even know that was the same guy. But one day I hope to get to see him again. And I'll say, "Rick," I said, "you won't remember this, but when I first started, I'll remind him of that." But that was a good compliment to me. And I said, "Thank you very much. That's my job." And my biggest thing that is a compliment from the guys is I tore my pec and I had it repaired. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the office because I run through every dollar I've got. My mom and dad would give me the money if I needed it, but I wasn't asking my mom and dad for nothing because just man, you got to stand on your own 2 feet. Gotcha. So I go in the office. I said, "Mr. Crock," I said, "Yes, Gene, what do you want?" I said, "Well, I know this sounds kind of funny, but I need to borrow like $1,500. Mr. Crock said, "Borrow $1,500? Yeah, been injured, pec surgery. It's starting to heal up now. It's tender, but I gotta have some money to make it through because I figured the next month and a half it'll be better. I can get back in the ring, start bang, 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 bang." I'm an idiot because the doctor would tell me, "No, you're not," because that thing's tender. And so I'm sitting in the office. I don't loan money to wrestlers. But my dad's a legislator, and I'm here, and I'm a local guy. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to screw you over to $1,500. He said, "No, not doing it. Sorry." I said, "Okay." And just as I was about to get up, I got my arm in a sling now. Surgery was just 2 weeks earlier. I'm sore still. And I'm like, okay. And I said, I wasn't supposed to be driving, but I drove anyway. And I said, all right. So I started to get up, and here comes Dusty Rhodes busting the door. Son of a bitch. He's like cussing like that. I said, well, I better get out of here before I get beat up. He said, you ain't believe what happened. Crowley went, what's wrong? He said, so-and-so showed up for a wrestling match last night, Georgia, drunk. Out of his mind. Match went terrible. Had to put Johnny Weaver in the referee because the guy was so out of it. I said, what? And he's supposed to referee in Fayetteville tonight. Weaver's there. Weaver can't do the booking and that at the same time. We're screwed. I got to find somebody to referee that match. I went, I do it. How are you going to do it? You want to sling. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. And stay out of the way. Yeah. He said, but how you going to get up? So I pulled my arm out of my sling, put it in my pocket, dropped down, give me a 1 push-up, 2 push-up, 3 push-up, got back up. I can do it. You know, get your stuff. You got referee stuff? I said, I refereed high school and college matches. I got the gear. But I don't have a black pair of shoes. I got white shoes. I don't care what kind of shoes you got. So I got in my car and I took off, and Mr. Crockett said, here's a check for $1,000. Take it out of your check each week. I said, thanks, sir. Because he knew I was sacrificing. And he said, well, the guy's willing to do that with a bad bum arm. He said, I guess that's how he's thinking. He said, how do you say no? And so
right.
They get the money out of my check anyway. So I'm like, I hit the road. I get there, and Weaver's there waiting on me. He said, Ligon, what are you doing? You're not wrestling tonight. You got that arm messed up. I said, no, I'm taking the arm out, put it in my pocket. I'm refereeing. He said, you're refereeing. I said, listen, I did college and high school. I said, I know how to do this. I said, I may not know how to do this, but I'll figure it out. And so we got in the ring, and I told all the guys, listen, this arm looks normal, but it's tender. It's black and blue up here. It's messed up. Just don't hit me. Don't you hit me, because it's black. So they sat there and wrestled, and everybody stayed away from me and took care of me. And then so I said, 1, 2, 3. I said, I'm not going down every time you go for a pin. Just kick out quick, because if I hit the ground and get back up, it's going to wear this arm out. I'll mess up one of these days. And if you go to Starrcade, I guess it's 80, 85, 86, where we were in Atlanta, Georgia, and Greensboro.
Okay.
The thing is, I keep finding different Starrcade names. They got Joe Frazier refereeing a match. I said, that wasn't the Starrcade I was in. And I thought we were the first Starrcade, but apparently we're not.
That was 80. That was 83, I believe. It was the first one.
On down, because it was when I had my surgery, it was 86.
Okay.
Right? 87, I think it was. And so I'm like, so it was the later version where it had Superstar Billy Graham versus the Barbarian arm wrestling match.
That's
had Manny Fernandez versus Abdullah the Butcher in a Mexican hat match, and had Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes in a wrestling match where the referee got knocked out of the ring, and a referee came to save it, and that was me. And I had another match. I think it was. I had my 3 matches, and I said, "Here's how you want to tell how good we were, not me, but at how good the company was."
Right.
Most of these companies, they pre-plan everything.
Right.
They tell everybody what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to go, but it takes the spontaneity completely out. You know what's going to happen. They had the Ric Flair and the Dusty Road match. Dusty's going over, but nobody knows that. Only Ric Flair, the referee, and Dusty Rhodes knew, and Jim Crockett. I didn't.
All right. I'm looking here that Starrcade 1985 is when that was. I just found
it. Might have been. My brain might be dead.
Yeah.
It probably was 85.
Yeah.
I tore my pec, and I was like screwed. And
all three of those matches you mentioned were listed on there. That I just found. Yeah.
I had the hardest time finding them. It might be because I got the wrong dates, but I'm in the dressing room. I've done
Mhm.
my matches. I'm sitting back chilling. I know it's a big night. We're gonna get a nice paycheck, probably the best check I ever got in wrestling. I'm like, because referees got paid whatever the beginner guys got paid. So
Okay.
we were, they got paid exactly the same thing, and sometimes a little bit more because you do more work. And I'm sitting there just enjoying myself. And here's Dusty and Flair, and all of a sudden Flair and Dusty bump into the referee, knocking Tommy Young out of the ring. Dusty hit him. He hits the ground. He's out. I'm sitting there watching. He ain't getting up. And Flair and them are doing their thing. All of a sudden, huh? Go to the ring. Finish the call. I said, what about go to the ring? But go to the ring. So I'm running from the back all the way to the front. Slide in. I act like I didn't know what's going on because I didn't know what was going on. There was no finish. They didn't tell me nothing. I got to call it as I see it. And I'm like, they all knew that don't leave your shoulder down there on the third count. I'm not doing this hold off thing. It's a 1, it's a 2, and 3's coming. I'm going to hit that mat. I'm not going to go, ooh, I hate that. I can't stand it. Because all about, ooh, they know it's fixed. So I'm sitting there going, Flair and them both know that I'm going to slap that mat. And so I come and roll the ring, and all of a sudden they're doing their little thing. And I look over there to see Tommy. Tommy, you okay? I'm thinking he really is knocked out because he's like selling it pretty good. I'm like, I'm here. What am I going to do? So they boom, boom, boom. They did a roll up thing. I go down 1, 2, 3. And then Flair either somebody kicks out. I'm like, I've just lost my job because I just counted Ric Flair getting pinned by Dustin. Ric Flair, I'm like, I'm fired. I go and raise hand. So I go home, get my last check. I'll see you later. Bye. My career's over. But I got back and said, how'd it go? How'd it go? Hey, you did great. So I didn't screw up? No, you did exactly what we wanted done. Well, you didn't tell me what to do. Exactly. We wanted you to do exactly how you know how. Because I'm going to call it like a college run. And that's how much they think. I'm calling it like a school match. I'm calling it like a college match. I don't sit there and hold back when the guy's pinned. Pow, there you go. 1, 2. They watched me the whole year doing this stuff. They knew I wasn't going to do that. In my mind, they may not be thinking that at all, but why would they trust a rookie referee to go out there to call a match as he sees it?
Right.
You're going to call a match as you see it. I went, okay. I felt pretty good about it. So after that, I went back to doing a little more refereeing. I refereed all over the country for a year. Learned more refereeing than I ever would wrestling.
Wow.
Because you got Harley Race versus Ric Flair, Harley Race versus Dusty Rhodes. I'm in the middle of that. I'm watching how they communicate with their eyes, not with words. They kind of look at each other. And they would call out a match. They said, hey, Chicago, 1997. And it's a move that happened in that match somewhere, and they knew what they were doing. I'm like, how do they know these things? So it's Harley Race and them been wrestling. It was a part of their lifestyle.
Right.
For me, it's a hobby with a paycheck. I'm like, right. So, but these guys, they lived it. And I was taught my first year that I got in at 87, no, 77, 76, 77 with IWA and Johnny Powers. Somebody, I said, well, you know, wrestling's fake. He said, don't ever say that. So you call my mother a whore. I called your mother a whore. I would never call your mother. No, the mother is my business.
Right.
This is my business. This is my mama. It feeds me. It clothes me. It has a house. This is my mother. When you say it's fake, you're calling my mother a whore. Won't do that again. I won't do that again, buddy. He said, that's how you got to test it. When somebody says that to you, you need to be offended, just like they called your mother a whore. I like the thought. I like the way they think. It is their life. And I had my first start, Crusher Khrushchev. No, that wasn't Crusher Khrushchev. No, it's Carl von Stroheim. Carl von Stroheim. You ever heard Carl von Stroheim? Kurt and Carl.
Yeah.
Well, we got in it. Kurt The guy named Paul von Stroheim was actually Kurt von Stroheim, and a guy named Kurt von Stroheim was somebody else. But we never met Kurt. We met Carl, which was actually Kurt. And he took me and Chuck, a buddy of mine that started together, and I teach you how to wrestle, teach you how to train like a wrestler. This guy's just German accent, like, jeez. And I'm like, okay. So he got this rubber band, that you put on, you tie it off, if you have a, some kind of blood pulling or something. He had this, and he said, put it at the door, shut the door. We do exercises. So we're doing these exercises. We work out for 2 hours straight. This guy's in his 50s. I'm in my 20s. I was in pretty good. I was in fit shape. I was a gymnast. I had just come out of college. I'm in shape. I just finished high school wrestling. I'm in shape. And my arms are like, the next day, couldn't walk. Arms are sore, back sore, everything's sore. This is what he does every day for his workout. So he starts telling us stories about what it was like to be in the military in Germany in World War II. He fought in World War II.
Jeez.
Like, dude, my dad fought in World War II. My dad was in his 50s at the time. And I'm like, this guy is still around. He said, I would have flamethrower. I said, yeah. He was a nice guy, right? Flamethrower. We go to a cave. They told the Russian pigs to come out. They said, come out. You'll be executed like men. You think I'm coming out? You're going to execute me? Line me up? Pow, 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 pow. Because that's what they did. That's how they fought war. Then I come out. I have to cook me Germans. Cook you some Germans. Yeah. They would not come out. Go ahead. Whole cab. Lit it up. We're all twisted curve. He said, war is hell. I said, that's how you fight wars. So I said, well, anyway, the war got over with and everything. He said, I had to make a living. I said, what'd you do? He said, well, we would travel to the towns of Germany, Austria. We'd take a boxing ring with us. Because in Germany, they had rings set up and stuff like that. We over here play football. They're over there doing gymnastics and boxing and stuff like that.
Right.
Different world. Yeah. And so every little town had a hero. Every little town had a stud. He said, my manager and over the event, the booker, he'd go to a town and he'd go to a bar and he'd go, who is the strongest man you have here in your town? That would be Bruno. Bruno. I have a man that would kick Bruno's butt. And he said, no one can kick Bruno's butt. And so we said, no, Bruno, he's beat all of us. He can beat us all. And they're all, hundreds of men sitting at a bar having a stein, drinking the beer. I can picture it. I'm like, and so, here comes Carl, walks in. My champion here can beat Bruno like that. He said, no, he can't. So he said, where's Bruno? Bruno comes up, big guy. And Carl was a big guy. So Carl standing there. He said, let's have a fight. And they just open up the area or walk out on the street. And they're going to have a fight. Sit back like you see in the movies. He said, so I'd stay there. And Bruno, I'd take a slow swing and Bruno would hit me. Boom. I swing again. Boom. Then Bruno would get me good. Boom. I hit the ground. No more. And so I said, I thought your man was tough. Well, it's because it's not the right area. We need to be in the ring with boxing gloves and stuff. We'll have it tomorrow. So I have a Saturday match. So just sitting there, they get the ring set up. They get the whole thing in the middle. The whole town shows up. They're laying bets on the side. The guys got thousands of dollars got set aside for betting. 10-1 odds, 5-1 odds. They're betting money. So the guys got all this money on the line. And all this money they're going to win. So here comes Bruno. Carl comes walking in like all beat up, his eyes swollen, everything like that. So they get in the ring and they do a few punches. He says, I carry the guy a little bit and finally, Bruno hits the ground. Get up, Bruno! Get up! Knocked him out. And the guy collects the money. He said, I'm already in the car waiting. Whoa! To the next town. Do the same thing over and over. And they split the money down the middle. He said, nobody's beating my butt. I said, I believe you, Carl. He said, I had some close ones. He said, but I knew how to hit. He said, and he just was a strong man. I don't think he could probably do 500-pound bench press, but he just had tendon strength that he could grab you and you're like, whatever you want to do to me, go ahead. Don't kill me. Just a nice man. He had a lovely wife. But I said, gosh, the mentality
right.
to live that life.
Yep.
Came here as American, became American and everything. He says, I can do this wrestling thing. But if he wanted to kick somebody's butt that was getting smart with him, we tell the guys, we said, hey, don't mess. Oh, he's an old man. Don't you call him an old man. He will kill you. And I said, you sure? I'm sure. I'm telling you right now. He said, hit me in the jaw. And I hit him. He said, shoot. Boom. I'm out cold. Boom. I said, I'm telling you, I'm not doing it. I said, you go ahead and you do what you want to. But I'm telling you right now, you better give your mom and dad's address so I can send the funeral. It don't happen because you'll be dead. Said, really? So they were scared to death of Carl. But Carl was a nice man. He was just as nice as he been. Nothing but fond memories of Carl. He wore us out that day. I thought I was in shape. This son of a gun, this old man just made me cry. That was one of the great stories of when I first started. Like, because all of a sudden they became heroes to you. This guy's a normal guy. He's a guy that fought in World War II and survived the worst conditions. And I can only imagine how many fights he had all through Germany and Austria. He can't go back to the again. He has to make their money now because they're not coming back because they all figured out they screwed us. They set us up. Yeah, they did. Y'all bit big time.
Kind of like the old Carney days in a way,
yeah,
like in wrestling, you know.
That's Carnival. The old Carnival. You go there and say, who can beat this man? Who will take the champion? There's a lot of movies that got the same thing. And it said we just worked it in little towns that always had a hero there that could beat anybody's butt. No one can beat Bruno. No one can beat Hans. Hans is the greatest. Hans knocked out late in the middle of the ring. But to take a beating for a while, it's sort of like the movie. If you've seen it, it's a boxer that they have to lose the match for a while, and they're setting this rich guy up in Texas. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The guy that played the black guy that played the part. He's been in lots of movies, and he took a beating, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets a shot in, and all of a sudden, then it had other guys come up, young guys, and they try to cheat, and finally, boom, boom, and finally he's almost beat. They got the money. He won't ever finish. They had to fight like 7, 8 matches, and one day, and he beat everybody in town that one day. Young buck, young stud, young this. And all of a sudden, finally, they brought in a guy that was a champion. From a prison, and the prisoner was a champion boxer, and they knew each other, but it was like, oh no, I can't beat him. He'll kill me. And the guy, it's called, what's it called? You have to look it up. But the guy that played the guy, he's played a lot of movies, gangster movies and stuff. But he said at the end of it, all of a sudden here comes the Mexican guy in, and the rich guy's going, you're going down, and the black guy's going, you know what's going on. And didn't realize that the manager had it all set up. He's going to be fine. All of a sudden he goes in there. The guy takes a swing. The guy sticks his jaw out. He goes, boom, down he goes. Yeah. And they won all the money and walked out. Yay! The next guy is there, looks up and winks at him. Because he got paid too. Because he already got paid. He got out of prison. And all this stuff was to get him out of prison. The whole I said, that was so good. It's like a sting, but that's exactly
not the champ, is it?
No, Champ was a story about a young boy looking up to his dad.
Yeah.
But that was a good movie too. But it's it's something like county. I'll look at some boxing. Look up boxing, uh, Texas boxing or something like that. Because it was in Texas, I think, where the fight was, a little tiny town. This guy owned the whole town, and he ran. The guy that played the part of the owner of the whole town played all of Clint Eastwood's movies as the evil character. He was always the evil cowboy. And it was like, I'll get you right. He was always Bruce Dern. Bruce Dern played the owner of the town. Bruce Dern movie about boxing. Bruce Dern. I tell you
what year? What year was this?
This is 70s.
70s. Okay, this is
way back.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up as we're talking. So
I'll watch a good movie. You need to watch that movie because it was all about getting redemption over a guy that was mistreated, and the guy came in there and said, "We're going to give him a little bit of your own medicine."
Yeah,
but you don't know the ending. And I told you the ending now, but I spoiled it for you. But you watch the whole movie, you're like, dude, it's beautiful. It's pro wrestling like crazy, man, because it's like they're setting guys up, boom, 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 and the fight goes on all day. And it lasts 2 days of fighting. But Bruce Dern, boxing, town owner, evil.
I'm looking it up. I'm trying to. I'll find it and then I'll let you know. But and then I'll let you know when I find it because there's I just found a.
It's Digstown.
Okay, I've heard of it. Yeah, I haven't seen it though. Yeah,
you need to watch that movie. You can find it because that you'll sit back and it's sort of like identifies with wrestling. You sit there and say, you sit back and say you want to see the good guy beat the bad guy because that's all pro wrestling is: good guy versus bad guy. Yep. I want to see the good guy win. I was told the good guy never loses and the bad guy never wins. And he said, "Well, I've seen lots of bad guys win." No. The bad guy always pulls the tights. He didn't win. He cheated.
Yes.
And the good guy didn't lose because he got cheated. So it was all, no, that's not right. He didn't lose. He got cheated. See, he didn't lose. He got cheated. And that's how the crowd accepts it. And that's the whole premise of all pro wrestling. Now it's all about who can show the boobs off to each other most, I guess. But I said back then it was good guy versus bad guy.
How many flips you could do?
Yeah.
Or how many tables you can go through? Yeah.
You watch some of the old stuff. They do a good drop kick. That was a good move. No punch.
You know who had the best drop kick in my personal opinion, and I know you got to know this guy very well, is Brad Armstrong. He had the greatest drop kick you'll ever see.
Nice. And Brad was just as cool could be. He'd always give you more than he needed to give you. And that's why he got a lot by some guys because he'd always help a guy, make him look. So I don't want to beat somebody that's nobody. You beat nobody, then that means you beat nobody. But he give a little bit of this, but he give a good arm drag, good drop kick up there. That thing, he's up there flying and it landed so nicely. You can't help but fall properly because he lands it. He didn't kick in the gut or anything like that. It was like beautiful. He could put that foot on your face and you wouldn't even feel it. It was like he just had a good touch.
One of the greatest of all time, I think, personally. That guy could put on.
Didn't get his just due. Tell you that.
Yeah.
And his dad was. They said his dad and I looked a lot alike. And I said, I looked at a picture of him, looked at the younger version of Brad's dad. And I'm like, it looks a little bit like him. Because I said, you're not related? Because if you find some old pictures of him and find a picture of me, he's like, hey, look at that. older version of me. And now I look more like him as a younger man. And I say, hey, that's old. I'm 70. He'll be 73 in a couple of months. I'm like, gee, having fun.
Actually, I saw while I was doing research, your birthday's October 10th, right?
Yeah.
Mine's the 11th. So, boom.
Look at you.
Look at you. Things you come across while doing research, I tell you. So.
It's made. My brother's the 27th.
Oh.
So we're like a family.
There you go. So, tell me about there's a couple other things I want to get into you about. We can of course go back to a lot of the 80s career and stuff like that, but I want to ask you about specifically was the NAWA, which eventually turned into South Atlantic Pro and stuff. You went there, you were You did commentary. I think we touched upon it earlier, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the whole deal between that and that was that Sandy Scott that started running it, correct?
it was short lived.
Yeah, it was only about 2 years. I have a deep love for this organization for some strange reason. When I discovered it in like the mid '90s, I went back and got a bunch of tapes, and today I'll go back and watch a lot of that stuff.
You
And
had to send me some of those tapes because I haven't seen it.
yeah,
They just needed somebody to do some talking. I've don't even remember it hardly because you get them all mixed together after a while. Like, really?
it's a little bit confusing, the history, unless you
Yeah,
like really sit there. I went through some online stories and stuff like that that I found, and think I got the story straight for the most part. So it's very confusing because I think I came across the South Atlantic part first, and then the NAWA, which
South
the
Atlantic.
NAWA was. Yeah,
South Atlantic was Nelson's thing, and
yeah,
we traveled around a couple of cities, and it died quick. I mean, it
yeah,
just ran out of money. It just
yeah,
they had a guy they had an angel that was paying for it,
yep.
and kind of died out. And then I think I went in the background looking around. All I did was show up. They said, you need to talk about it." I says, I don't know any of the guys' names. I don't know any of them names. I said, put a list up there, and they put a list up there on a piece of paper. I'm like, I'm just reading it off. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and I just kind of like ad libbed the rest of the time. And some guys were good at ad lib with it. The one guy that was the announcer originally, a little skinny fella,
Hmm.
he died of some kind of, I think, AIDS or something like that.
Jeez.
And he didn't. He was drinking pretty bad. He didn't show up for work one day, and they said, "Ligon, can you do this?" I said, I can talk." I said, I mean, you were a school teacher. I said, well, yeah, I don't mean nothing. Most school teachers can't stand to be in front of a camera. I said, put it up, let's go. I said, who's watching? There's nobody watching. So I'm talking to a piece of metal with a glass on it. And they were going to try to build something up, but everybody was looking for a way to build something. I just did the
Hmm.
best I could. And um, everybody says, you've done everything. I said, not really. I just got sucked into everything. I wasn't looking, but I'd been fine being an announcer. Like, about you would more wrestle. I said, no, I could care less as long as you get paid. I'm not looking for fame. I said, I'm
Right.
looking for a paycheck and not get hurt. And guess what? If they're going to pay me to go, how you doing tonight? Great wrestling show. That's a whole lot more fun than getting thrown around like everything.
Yeah.
When they're 22, 23, 24 years old, it's all about I'm gonna get somebody. I said, no, it's about coming home at night, making sure you're safe. So
Yeah. There's something always very interesting about that organization, though. For me, for some reason, that I'm gonna have to. The
it was
Savoldis
a
own
different group. It was all
what's
the
that?
other guys,
Yeah,
trying to be
yeah.
more than they were.
Well, there was Tommy Angel was in there,
Tommy, Tommy's good.
Tommy, yeah, he's a great guy. I interviewed him a few months ago, and I thought that was a great conversation. And
David Isley,
yeah, he was there. George South made an appearance, I
George
think, at one
South.
point. Yep.
Here's a
And,
funny story about George South.
yeah.
When I was doing graduating college in 1974, the last 9 weeks, almost last 9 weeks of your graduating year,
Hmm.
you do student teaching.
Yeah.
So I had a section of time I had to do student teaching. Now, it might have been the late fall or early spring. I'm not sure. It's been a while. 1974 is a long time ago. So I go to a little school. Um, it was North Gaston's middle school, W.C.
Hmm.
Friday in Gastonia, North Carolina. And actually Dallas, North Carolina, because Dallas, little tiny town right outside Gastonia, and North Gaston was Dallas, North Carolina, and WC Friday was a block up the street in the woods, not the woods, but on a country road. WC Friday. I'm doing my student teaching at WC Friday. I'm a 160-pound guy. I'm a former, wrestler in high school. I was a gymnast in college. I could do all kinds of, but I wasn't a basketball player. I played a little football, but I was basically a PE teacher. Okay.
Right.
So I go there, and first time you're like a little scared because you got all these little 8th and 9th graders, because that's all middle school, right? But they're just little 8th and 9th graders, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And so I'm sitting there and teaching class, and we have a little a fun game with the high school comes back, raised money for the school, had the teachers play against the students, and the teachers beat the students. I made 2 shots that couldn't do it again if my life depended. I mean, oh, it went in. Holy cow. Well, I couldn't play basketball. It was terrible. I could jump and rebound, but I couldn't shoot with a crap. I just kind of like pretended like it was going to go in and went in. I was like, I can't believe it. I was just, man, you look like a pro. I said, no, it's called pure T luck. Because you told me to do it now. It's not. It may even make it to the goal. But we're out there playing, and then next day we had school the next week. I'm sitting there. It's my last few weeks at school, and a little kid comes from and says, "Mr. Ligon, Mr. Ligon." I said, "No, Coach. Yeah, what's up?" He said, "Man, you need to become a professional wrestler." I said, "Why?" I said, "You need to be around." I weigh 160 pounds. I'm skinny. I'm a skinny boy. So that's what I want to be. I want to be a professional wrestler one day. And he's like 8th grade, about this high. I'm like, I said, well, good luck, kid. I mean, you want to be a pro wrestler? Go ahead, go for it. So I said, well, this guy's got goals. He's an 8th grader. He's 10 years younger than I am. I'm like, so I said, okay. Well, 10 years later, I'm at WC TBS Studios where they're doing TV. One of my first tapes I've done with TBS because just started, 83, 84. So I'm like, okay. So I'm up there, and all of a sudden I'm sitting there putting my boots on and get my stuff on and everything like that. And this guy walks up. Well, Mr. Ligon? Mr. Ligon. Yeah? I don't know the guy from nobody. He said, you remember me? I said, how would I remember you? You were my teacher in 8th grade. I went, what's your name? He said, George South. So George South. I said, I don't remember you, George. He said, we told you. I remember somebody saying something, I'll be a pro wrestler, but you told me you want to be a pro wrestler. I said, yeah, I think I remember that. That's been about 10 years. Yeah, it's been 10 years. Because he was 25 years old. And I was 35 years old. So I said, well, kid, you made it. And he's been doing it ever since. That's all he's ever done his whole life.
He's still at it. Another guy. I have a picture of him up here on my wall. So
we're booking him for the. He's putting on a show we have on October 7th in our school.
Yeah.
And I said, give me some guys. And one of the guys that got backed out, he said, that makes me mad. He gave me his word. I said, George,
it's pro wrestling.
I said they got a better deal somewhere else. I said, and you can't blame the guy, but I know I tell you, I can make 5,000 here or 500 here. I told him I was coming. I got to go to the 500. Unless can you find somebody else? I'll pay you $500. That's what I do. I'd pay you $500 because I'm not coming. And if it's okay with you, if he says no, I got to have you, then I bite the bullet. You don't give him your word and then change it. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
But if emergency happened, like a wreck or something like that, you can't do that by that. But that was a choice made, and there's nothing to put somebody else in my place. I got a guy that can do my spot because I wasn't advertised, so it's not a big of a deal. And that's what but I at least give him a heads up.
Right.
I wouldn't give it a heads up. But George, I just finished talking to him for about 40 minutes. So I was riding home and he said, Gene, we got to get that match together. I said, George, we didn't advertise him, so it don't really matter. We just got to put on a good show. That will draw crowds back again. If you put on a lousy show, I don't care if you had a star that doesn't do a bump, they're not coming back. They got to come back to see a show that they enjoy and set up something for the next match. The next time we might have a bigger budget where we can hire some bigger guys. But most of the guys that want to come in there, they want their money. And so, how many bumps you gonna take? Well, I don't take bumps. Guess what? You're just a memory. I don't want a memory. I want a guy who can go out there and do something. But I know you're 70 years old. I know you're 65 years old. I know you're not going to do anything. But if you had a young guy with you, and you walk in and give him a couple of forearms, boom, 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 and then you tag out to your partner, who's a young guy, that'd be better. But you as a single match where I'm not going to take a bump. Well, guess what? We don't need you. Can't have you. Unless you're going to sign autographs and be a manager on the sideline, you're not getting paid the money you want to get paid, though. You're only worth so much. because you're not doing anything.
Yep.
And if 3 people came because of you, well, you big deal. Now 3,000 people show up because of you. Hey, we're gonna pay you good.
It's a huge difference. Huge
Yeah,
difference.
big difference.
Do you mind if I run down a couple people and ask you about
Go
them
ahead.
and your experiences with them?
Absolutely.
Somebody I want to ask you about is let's see here, Don Kernodle, the late Don Kernodle.
First pro match I ever saw.
Yeah.
As a student in college, Don Kernodle was in a wrestling match at Shelby Recreation Park, probably 1973, 72. I'm not sure. Me and a couple of my buddies went, let's go watch a pro wrestling match. We had never been to one. And we got there, and he wasn't a headliner. He was a beginner. He got out first match. I think it was the first match. And he was, fairly built pretty good. And but I'm thinking, all right, there you go. And he went to Elon College. As our rival. Gardner Webb's rival was Elon College. So he was over there talking to people in the sideline. But that night, the main event was, what was his name? Johnny. What's Valentine? Johnny Valentine.
Okay. Yep.
Greg Valentine. We didn't know who Greg was. Johnny Valentine come out in that black robe, walk out there, and we're sitting going, that guy looks like he could kill you. I mean, he just had to look. Wasn't a big man, but he was.
Right.
He was statuesque. I mean, and what really got me was this: how good these people were. I'm a facsimile thereof. These guys lived it and believed it. He walks out, and this big man stood up, pulled his hand back on, beat your butt. And Johnny looked over at him like, paused a minute, and walked in his direction. The guy went, he's bowing up. And Johnny leaned forward and stuck his chin out. Take your first shot. And the guy went, kind of backed off and sat down. That's what I thought. He got in the ring. I said, dude, if that's a bluff, it's the best bluff I've ever seen in my life. I said, man, never forget that. I said, did you see that? Yeah. What would you have done? I'd have ran. I would never hit that guy. I might break my hand hitting him. He looks like he's got a stone jaw. And
Right.
And I said, wow. So he stood there and he'd hammer a guy. Wham! I thought this stuff was fake. You could hear it. Thud. And he was known for laying it in on guys. Because you don't get mad at guys like that because he's willing to take it too. I'll give it and I'll take it. Now, if he said, hit me, bam, bam, he bam, blah. You could pound on him all you wanted to, but he's going to pound you right back. That was the beautiful thing of watching. That was my first pro wrestling match I ever saw.
Wow. What about Rocky King?
Rocky. Rocky was a great guy. He was always he mumbled so much. But Rocky would give us heart and soul every match. He wasn't very big, but
he was very skinny.
He was very lean and muscular, but he wasn't a big guy. But he stepped in that ring. He's going to give you 100%. Never felt like he was just going through the motions. He wanted to do as best he can because he was hoping to get his big chance.
Right.
And just a good guy. Just a good guy.
What about Tully and Arn?
Now, Tully was hard to get to know because he lived his part. He a little bit of it. He was probably the college guy, was a smart aleck, but a nice guy. But he just you weren't a part of his team. You weren't in the echelon that he was. Arn was as funny a guy you're ever going to meet. He has such great wit. Half that stuff he said on TV, he'd come back with an answer. It was off the top of his head. He'd be talking. One night we were in Greenville, and I'm not Thunderfoot. I'm being Gene Lee. Well, I might have been Thunderfoot. Yeah, I was Thunderfoot. And we go out there to wrestle. I got to wrestle against the something other Raiders, Kansas City Raiders,
The Jayhawks.
Jayhawks.
Yeah.
I never kept up with anything. I was about a follower of wrestling.
It's Bobby Jaggers and oh crap, I can't remember the other guy's name right now.
Guy's hairy. I know the guy's
yeah.
hairy.
Yeah.
But so I'm sitting there in back, and I got a match with them, and they're coming in. They're doing them a favor by bringing them in to get them a match in, have them throw people around, make us look bad. I think it was Thunderfoot. I don't know if Thunderfoot 1 was in it, but it might have been. But I'm standing on the sideline, and Arn apparently he liked to rib people, and I don't know if he had any kind of like angst against these guys or anything like that. Maybe against one guy, because the one guy was a jerk. Jaggers. The other guy was a serious-minded guy and right. a decent guy. And Jaggers okay, but Jaggers was always on you. He's irritating the crap out of you. Never made him. Just about all the guys always talk about. He can be a jerk, but he was a decent worker. And so Arn looked at me and said, "Ligon, why don't you go get out there and you wrestle against Jaggers? I want you to pick Jaggers up, put him on the ground, make him wrestle." I can't do that. I get fired. I ain't doing that. He said, "You can do it." I said, "Yeah, I can do it." I said, "He's not a wrestler. He know how to wrestle." He said, "Yeah, don't you pick him up, put him on the ground, let him everybody know he don't know what he's doing." I said, "Oh, I don't do that to a guy like that." Because he said, "Well, I said, I get, Dusty will have me fired." And J.J. Dillon was standing right there. And J.J.'s a booker. He's like, top guy. So, J.J., Ligon, did you care if Ligon does that? I said, "No, do it, Ligon." I said, "Now, let him up. Don't make it look bad, but, just show him that you can do something." Because he basically did, because we're guys out there to take a fall, disrespected in a lot of ways. The other guy was not so much. He knew he'd come the hard way too, but sometimes they get a little hitty. And he says, "All right, I got both of you. Don't screw me over, because I'm going." So shoot the bell ring, go out there, boom, boom, boom. And I duck under behind him, pick him up, put him on the ground, stayed on top of him, rode him a little bit, then let him up. And the other guy got mad. He said, "What's that BS? Just making them look bad for a second." So I'm only gonna make the guy look bad for 1 second or two. Let him up, and then we went and continued to wrestle. But that's how I remember of it. It was just a little small thing. And that was in Greenville, South Carolina. And then what was all that crap about? I said, "Hey, talk to JJ." I'm not taking the blame for this. Talk to JJ and R. And he said, "Oh, just have a little fun, guys. That's welcome to Greenville, South Carolina." Like, that's what you got to do. That's how we welcome you. And I said, "It's not going to hurt you." I don't even know if they actually got the tape to air or not, but it was just one little event there.
I know it was Dutch Mantel at one point was one of them, but I don't. Was it
Dutch is a serious-minded guy.
Great mind for the business, and the guy obviously he's lasted forever. So
he just he knows so much. He knows more than I ever thought about.
Yeah. I asked you in 1988. You went to WWF for a little while.
Oh. Yeah, they were having, Crockett and them made a deal, and what it was that WWF had been beating up their underneath guys so badly. All they had left was a lot. I mean, terrible guys. I mean, they were basically. I walked up to you and you never seen a wrestling match. "Hey, you want to get in the ring and wrestle? Oh, we'll pay you $500. Okay. And you get there, and so you wouldn't know how to lock up. You just kind of like, they grab you, throw you around, toss you to the side. You probably got $500 worth of damage before you left. I don't know if they paid $500 or $150 like they paid us, but they told Nelson Roll helped put it together and everything, got all together and got permission from Crockett and all them to go. And so we go up there because they needed us for a couple weeks or so. Right. They flew us up there, flew about 16, 17 of us up there. Isley was with us, George South, all of them. So we get all the way up there. I'm the older guy. I'm the senior. I'm not real old, but I'm older than they. They're all in their 20s. I'm in my late 30s. So I get up there and go in. I check in. from Charlotte, North Carolina. I said, oh yeah, come here. And man, they had a buffet set up. They had food. It was like going to one of those movie theater type. Dressing area was immaculate. It was like, look, guys, get something to eat. I said, and they got steaks laid out here. They got, I mean, we're sitting there going, wow, we don't have to rest for another 4 hours. This boy's eating. I'm eating. And so we took some stuff leaving that night. We're heading back to the room. We're taking some stuff with us. So we go out there and we get the guys are out there and we're going. I had the Ultimate Warrior. About took my head off. But had these different guys that were like stars.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're like our guys. They work with you a little bit, give you a hip toss, say hey, but they're ripping you, boom, boom, and it's hurting. It's like you're in a fight.
Yeah.
And so all the guys come back, look at me, they're stiff. They're stiff as can be. That mat's like a hard as a brick because they're slamming you on a ring that didn't give, barely padded. And you hit on your hip, it's cracked. If you hit flat, you try to cover as best you can, but it's hurting like crazy. So they're slamming us around, clotheslining, boom, 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 just treating us like trash because that's what they did to all the other guys.
Right.
That's why they're all injured. They can't do anything. And so I got the guys together and I said, hey, give them what they give. So what? I said, listen, they hit you, lay it back into them. They're not expecting it, so you may get lucky. So they said, sure enough. And so some of the guys who were a little more experienced, and it's all of a sudden, I laid one shot in. The guy gave me a shot, and I went, pop, right to his gut. Oh, so what the hell was that? I said, this is what it's going to be. You do this because we're going to fight. I was lucky enough to have some decent guys, but guys were being mistreated. I mean, these guys had families. I have a family. That was me. But next thing you know, they got a little lighter the next day. It was just they just weren't quite stiff. They said because they didn't want to get hit. I said it's going to look really bad. The world champion gets knocked out on TV because it's going to happen. Yeah. These are country boys from North Carolina. They know how to fight. I said, me not so much, but I know that boy right there. You make him mad, he'll knock you out.
But, I saw that you wrestled Owen Hart as the Blue Blazer at one point, and you did get a little offense in there, you know.
Because I talked to him before, and they were having a hard time finding somebody to match him with because he could do all these flips, and the guys that he wrestled against weren't assisting him at all. I mean, you can't fly through the air; you have to have a little bit of help. And I told Owen, I said, Owen, I was a gymnast in college. I can do a round off back handspring. I said, I'm not going to do it because it's been 20 years, 15 years. I said, but when I was in college, I could do round off back handsprings. And we used to do events at elementary schools where a guy come run to me and I'd flip him in the air and make him land. I can do the same thing with you. I said, I see what you're doing. I'll just carry you and put some support on you so you can do some things that you want to do. He said, so you can help me on that? I said, yeah. I said, that back flip you always do. They always throw you way too far and you don't. I said, gotta get you up and not force it. Let you get once you leave my arms, you'll know how to turn to a half turn or whatever. He said, good. So he felt so much more confident because he had just gone to that gimmick. He had just started doing it. And I think he walked across the ropes one time and he flipped off of that. And then I did a back flip to him and I turned around. Next thing I know, he's drop kicking me. What the hey? Where's this guy? Because I just threw him in the air like a backdrop. He landed on his feet. I turn around, boom, here comes a drop kick. He thanked me after the match. He says, that was perfect. I can have you every night. I said, I'll be going in a couple of days. Be gone. I said, that's how you ought to be done. And that's the first time we've been in the ring together. So if we'd had several matches, it would have been a whole lot better because we could have done stuff. But I was trying to time him and get him just right. And he was so good at it, I was helping him too much. Right. He was not getting any help, and he would overcompensate and almost flip out of it. I said, we'd had 3 more matches together. We could have so much fun flying through the air, and I'd look like the dummy getting knocked down every time. I just should have got on, turn around, boom, drop it, arm drag, boom, boom, over top ropes. Just but how they did him when he died. That we said never again. We're never going back to that big. Those people do not care because in a regular baseball game or a football game, guy has a heart attack on the field, game's canceled.
Yeah.
He died by the ring. He was dead.
Yep. When he hit the ring, he was basically dead. So,
Yeah. And they took him off like he'll be okay, and it continued to show. I said,
yeah,
no, you say the man's dead. Give him the honor.
yeah,
But right there, I said, no, I'm not doing that guy. I'm not going back to WCW again. To finish what we had to do, and we got out of there and had to get home, fly back home. Don't send us again, not again. That was wrong. I was there tonight. I think I was there tonight that McMahon got punched by
Hitman.
Hitman.
Yeah.
We were, and so he come walking out like he was like, what happened? You knocked him out. Told you. The story goes that he called him in the back there, and he says, because they gave the title away. And that wasn't that ain't how it's supposed to go. And the other guy was involved in it. Said, "Hey, I got to do what the boss says." The Hitman was right downstairs, had to come back to the back, and you see McMahon walking down the hallway like, "What the heck's he want to talk to me about?" And walks in, "What do you want?" Bam! They said the man come walking out like he was drunk, and he was. He was knocked out.
Yeah.
And I said, I admire him for that. I said, son of a gun, you don't do that to a champion. You work it out with a champion. And he would have probably done what it want to do if it's right. But not everybody, not all champions go along with the finish. No, we're not doing it that way. We're going to do it this way. Okay. Can we do a little bit of this? We'll do it. You negotiate it. But there's a lot of guys that I was in Japan. And I was like, said, we're going to have you get beat by so-and-so, so-and-so. And the guy was like, too close to America. So, too close to America? What are you doing? Or too close to Japan because they're not losing any matches in Japan.
Yeah.
What's the big black guy? What's that? Plain dead.
In Japan?
Yeah, he wrestled. He's from Mississippi, Alabama area, but not Abdullah, but it's
what the hell's good? Kamala.
Kamala. Yeah. What the nicest is one of the positive things in wrestling. He's our biggest line we had in Australia. We were down in Australia for the IWA, which they were starting a group of IWA, and he goes and said, "Man, I tell you, this how it's going to be. This way, it's going to be this high." He said, "Is that right?" So he'd always say, "Is that right?" And so he said, "Well, come on, we're gonna have so and so go over on you." And he said, "Oh, we can't do that. Too close to Japan. We'll be in Australia. It's too close to Japan because it gets back to Japan. Guess what?
They're gonna know about it. Yeah,
they're not gonna pay it. He got screwed over by WWF so badly. I mean, he was paid stump change, and he was he was the draw. He was
a big deal.
He lost all kind of diabetes and stuff.
Yep.
But you would just love sitting around shooting bull with him. He was just funny. We laughed and laughed and laughed. And he'd talk about different wrestlers and he'd tell what he did. We just started giggling and laughing like a bunch of little kids because he was just a good guy. You couldn't have found him.
Yeah.
We just had a whole month in Japan, in Australia with him. And we went around to the zoo we had there and everything. It was like a Carowinds or a King's Dominion type park.
Right.
And we wrestled every day for about 20 minutes. And then it'd be an early day and a late day. And it was just like going to an event that you go to, like one of those song shows. It'd be a wrestling match. So we'd go either have the early show, which we start at 12 o'clock, go out there for 10 minutes. I'm done. Back to the room, get free food, out of here. So they paid us, several $1,000s to go down there and do 10 minutes worth of work a day. It was funny. It was great. I'm like, this is all right. We had breakfast in the morning. They had to pay for all breakfast. That was the only thing. I mean, back then, this is 1992, something like that. And a buffet, eat all you want, was like $20.
Yeah.
Well, we'd pay $3 here in America at the time, like $20. So we'd sit there and eat like crazy, stuff
Yeah.
ourselves. And then we found out they were having hamburgers at the event. So we started skipping breakfast. Go and get all that. Can we take some? Yeah, take all you want. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I take 9 hamburgers home to the motel room and go downstairs to the microwave and cook them suckers in our room. And that's what we lived off of because we couldn't spend no money. It was a cup of coffee was $4. That's when coffee was 30 cents. It's $4 in Australia. Hey, I bought somebody a cup of coffee. I said, what? $4? Better drink all of it. Don't even half a cup. Don't waste my money. Wow, it was a nice trip. Australia was a great trip. Japan was a great trip.
I was going to ask you. This would be probably. I want to know about your trip. You worked with All Japan, and I have it here.
Yeah.
1987. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
86 or 87. I mean, that was an opportunity that Nelson Roll helped line up. He said, "Listen, you want to go to Japan? I got you. It's Japan. Oh yeah. I said, they'll fly you out there. They'll pay you $10,000 to wrestle. $10,000. Yeah. Are you kidding me? 10. Do you mean like $1,000? No, 10,000. That's your pay. Is that because I'm special? Yeah. No, everybody gets paid. Darn, I thought it was special. But so I get over there, and of course they shake up. I have a passport. Barely got it in time. Never had a passport. So I got a passport. And boom, went in there. And the first night there, we're in this arena. What a big arena! It was like an auditorium.
Mhm.
And knowing the Japanese people, didn't know how they acted. But most of these little 12, 13-year-old little boys were big fans. That's the market. And they come running up, and I'm standing next to Stan Hansen, who I had just met. And Stan, he's not as tall as he was when he was in Japan. He's much taller then. And now he's short. I'm like, he's the same height I am. I said, Stan, he shrunk. He's compacted his back. But he's standing there, and he's like, he's showing the back like he's playing the part, right? But a very intelligent man. You know what I'm saying? He's showing the back, and kid walks up. Stan Hansen. I got autograph. Stan Hansen. Get away, kid. Get away. That's Stan Hansen. Spits on him. And 3 kids got splatter all over their face. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, how rude. They go, Stan Hansen. They go running. They run to all their friends. Stan Hansen. Oh, they go, ooh. And they're like playing with the spit. It is an honor. It is an honor to be spit on by Stan Hansen. He said they love it. I said, they love it. He said, watch. I said, oh my gosh. It's like an autograph. So they just think it's funny as crap. He says, it's just water. So we're wrestling, and I'm not a drinker. I never drank in my life. I don't smoke and all this stuff. I'm just a regular guy. I like to eat. Yeah. But we and Stan's kind of like hey, get something to drink with us. I don't drink. So he starts thinking I'm gay.
I'm sorry. That's
I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I said, I'm not gay. You ain't chasing no women. You're not drinking. Now, he didn't do it. He didn't do any of that either. But usually, the young guys like I was. He said, "Yeah, at your age now, you'll be doing this. You're not married." I said, "No, never been married." I said, "Well, I'm concerned about you." So he started thinking, and so I said, "No, I'm not gay." But I gave him a tip on a stock. He said, "Who is this Food Line?" I said, "Look up Food Line." I want to look it up. Food Line's small grocery store in Salisbury, North Carolina, growing like crazy. And he bought some stock, and it did him well. And so he started talking to me. We were in a town, and we're all going out that night. Night is late afternoon. It's like 5 o'clock. We didn't finish the matches and everything like that. We didn't have a match that day. So we're going there and says, go to the club. Oh, we're going to the club. You got to go. So you go to the club, and it's not like a nightclub. It's a karaoke bar.
Right.
And everybody's there to have some drinks, some sake and stuff like that. But you have to sit with a girl. And I'm not paying. You don't pay. Sit with a girl. It's part of the culture. So there's Filipino girls, very attractive. You
Yeah.
know, like, but they come up every so many weeks, and they get to work so many weeks, and they get paid based on tips.
Mm-hmm.
Band was paying for everything. So I'm sitting there, so what you want to drink? I have a Coke. So looked at me like, I'm sure you're gay. Coke. So I'm sitting there, and the girl's talking to me like, "How you doing?" But they don't speak a word. It's just just smiling like crazy. But they're just there to be company. No sexual stuff, just company. And so Stan said, "Somebody get there and sing." And so Joel was with us. Joel said, "Come on, yeah, you footers, get up there and sing." So we weren't the footers over there. We were just Joel and Gene, and we wrestled separately. We get there and start and put in an Elvis song, um, and I could do certain voices, and so we started singing. And Joel, he's up there singing, and I'm singing the song, and I'm trying to do it like how Elvis did the song, and I'm putting a little bit of whole, and so all of a sudden, people say, "Stop! Oh, Elvis Presley, Elvis Presley." And so Joel walks off the stage and leaves me singing. So I sing the whole song and walked down, and Stan looked at me and said, "That was pretty good, Ligon. I'm looking at you a little differently now." And so from that point on, we were buddies. So he said, "Maybe you're not gay." I said, "No, I'm not gay." I'm happy, but I'm not gay.
That's funny. That is great.
So we met up after years and stuff like that, and he always asks us, "Where's that Ligon guy?" I says, "You want to sing some songs for me?" I said, "Not today." But he comes back ever so often, and
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah.
He came very close. But he kind of walked me through the whole thing in Japan. He said, I lost a match I wasn't supposed to lose.
Yeah.
I misunderstood them because they you over, you over. I said, over what? Over this? I under. Okay, and they got it mixed up, and so I thought I was supposed to get beat by this guy, and it's one of their guys that gets beat all the time.
Yeah.
He's the guy that loses. But guess what? He won. So he said, "Oh, what happened? No." I said, "What about when I'm cool?" That's why I'd be mad. I said, "No, I'm not mad. That's fine." "Oh, no. You no lose. No lose." Said, "Never." That's okay. So I wrestled with the guy was a world champion WWF, redheaded guy. What's his name? Back in the 70s.
Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund.
No. I'm talking about a smaller guy, more fit.
In the 70s?
Yeah, he's before Backlund, and was it a tag?
I'm trying to think. Before Backlund was Superstar.
No,
Billy Graham, Bruno, Ivan Koloff.
no. It's all in that group of guys. He was an older man. He was an older man when I was wrestling there. He was I was in my 30s, and he was in his 40s or 50s. But nice guy. Just can't think of his name though.
The only redhead I can think of is Bob Backlund.
He's reddish. He's kind of reddish blonde. He was kind of But think of a movie star looking guy. I mean, he was always very, very eloquent on the interviews, and he wasn't he was more of a gentleman. That's like, but you'll think of him. I see. I'm horrible with names.
I'm just trying to remember because I'm trying to think of the lineage. I mean, of the champion over there. So I'll remember it at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah, because he was in that little genre there. But when we went to in the 80s, he might have won in the 70s. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, not Bob Backlund, but it's something like that. You'll think of it.
I mean, I know all the. I mean, well, it's my area. There was Bruno. There was. I'm trying to think of who else could have been. I thought I named everybody. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm off. What's that?
Keep coming forward with it. Don't go back so old. He's actually probably the 70s and 80s.
I know Backlund won it.
Think about it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I call him WWF champion, but I don't know. It might have been.
trying to think. All right. All right. So I'm looking it up as we speak. So, oh, brother, I'm trying to remember here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. It just went a little silent. So, oh no, that's too late. That's too late.
Well, if you look up Japan, wrestled in Japan with
Yeah. There's a lot there. There's whatever. In that era, I'm looking at this whole supposed thing. I know there was the Iron Sheik. There was yeah, I don't know who the heck you might be referring to because this is too glammy, like the later '80s, and then the guy you're describing. I keep saying Backlund, but maybe I'm wrong. I see Buddy Rogers, Bruno, Ivan, Pedro Morales, Stan Stasiak, Bruno again, Superstar, then Backlund, and then Antonio Inoki wins it, but I don't think that that's supposed to be recognized. And then they gave it back to Backlund, the Iron Sheik, and then Hogan, and then that's it going forward.
Oh, well,
Yeah, maybe it's not.
might not be WWF World Champion. Was there another champion company?
In the company, there's the Intercontinental Champion, which was the secondary title, and I'm trying. I know Pat Patterson. Is that who you're referring to?
No, not Pat
No.
Patterson. I'm thinking Andre the Giant, Rey Mysterio, greatest of all time. Look up Japan and wrestling.
Yeah.
1986. Yeah.
I think Hogan still had it in '86 and lost it in '88. He held it from '84 to, excuse me, Jesus, to '88.
This guy was, man, he was around all the time.
I'm seeing there's Pat Patterson, Ken Patera, Pedro Morales. I'm going through the Intercontinental title. Then Don Morocco, Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, Tito Santana, Greg Valentine, Tito, Savage, Steamboat, and then, Honky Tonk Band. And then we get to the more modern era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
As soon as I find it for you, you're going to say, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's going to kick me. I'm going to be like, damn it. Yeah. So when you find it, let me know. If you don't get it before we're done.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
Is all Japan Pro? What's it called?
Yeah, All Japan Pro is the company. Yep.
That was with who was the guy? The old man, the Japanese guy
that owned it. Baba, Giant Baba owned it.
When you got fingers that are not working right. What year was that? 1987 when I was there?
Yes. Yep.
I tagged with him.
Oh, my picture's probably. Let me look at your. You tagged with him in Japan?
Yep. Just right, one man. He came down for WC for Crockett for a short period of time, but he didn't get over because they were used to a different style.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up your because I saw a list of your matches in Japan, so I'm gonna look there. Oh man, okay.
It'll drive me nuts to find it.
Yeah, I might be able to find it.
We had one match together. He about wore me out because he was in and out so fast. It was ridiculous.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Everybody's Japanese so far I've come across. No, that's not him. See, you wrestled the Great Kabuki over there. You tagged with Nick Bockwinkel over there. That's kind of amazing.
Nick Bockwinkel, that's who it was.
Yeah, AWA World Champion. AWA World.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew he was a world champion on something.
Legendary wrestler.
Nick Bockwinkel was amazing.
Yeah. He did work for the WWF, I think, in like 1988, 1989 as an announcer on like the televised house shows on like the Madison Square Garden Network and stuff like that.
He did phenomenal shape for a man. He was much older than I was. And
He
he
was.
got,
I think he was in his 50s at that time period.
yeah, he went out there and
Yeah.
my boss said, gee whiz, I want to be in shape. This guy's in. I was in my mid-30s. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's in shape. So I ain't messing with him. There's a
Yeah. Right.
different world, a whole different world.
Yeah. Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
Gene. Do you have
smart money.
anything else you wanna throw in there tonight?
Oh, you got all the answers.
And I wanna thank you. I had a great conversation. I didn't know that this was gonna go nearly as long as it did, to be honest with you. But
You got a lot to.
you've had some great stories, man, and I appreciate you doing this. And maybe one day we'll sit down and do something else.
Yes, just some good things went on. I was blessed to be involved in it,
Yeah.
and I'm paying for it now, of course, through the shoulder. I had shoulder replacement. Everybody ever tells you, oh, it's all fake. Let me tell you what I got. I had one knee surgery when I was in college from an accident on a wrestling mat. That a guy fell on me while I was showing him a move. That's the only injury I ever had in my whole life that had to have surgery or something. Well, I get into pro wrestling. First year, fine, no problem. All of a sudden, 2 years go by. I had to take time off to get a job because it wasn't paying enough. The company went out of business. So in '83, when I tried out for wrestling again, next thing you know, I tear my knee. I said, "Oh," and I was playing basketball for a charity thing for the WCW. So my right leg, I popped it. I said, "Doggone it!" So got that repaired. Went back to wrestling very quickly because it was done arthroscopically. Did that real well. And then wrestling a match in Florence, South Carolina. Wrestling against a guy, a real good guy. He goes up for a handstand thing, come down with a knee on your chest, hits me right in the joint, right there. Pop. I just lifted weights that day. I was tight. So he hit that thing like a piece of meat. Bing. Tendon comes off, muscle rolls right up. I'm like, oh, that hurt. But I didn't realize I'd torn my pec. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I flexed. And that thing just kind of puffed up. I went, oh, crap. So we finished the match. And so I go to the dressing room. And one of the guys there I knew, Crusher Khrushchev, he had a torn pec. Never had it repaired. I said, Crusher, did I tear my pec? He said, flex. He said, oh, yeah, you tore it. So you got to look like me. And I looked at him and I said, I ain't going to look like you. So I go to the emergency room in Florence, South Carolina. They were working, they had an accident stuff. But all of a sudden, this doctor is taking all these doctors to be around, interns, walking around, and they got me back there with somebody who's basically a nurse and stuff like that. And she says, Doctor, I need your help. So the doctor comes in, she pulls the curtain back, and he's standing there with these 10 or 12 doctors to be. And he said, what's the problem? He says, so he hurt his chest. I think I tore my pec. He said, huh, you'll flex. Flex, oh, don't move. Come here. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there in front of all these people looking at me. Said, sir, would you mind flexing your chest muscle for me? So I flexed it, and they all went, oh. All the eyes went wild. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a torn pectoralis major. This is what happens when the muscles tear from the shoulder across, tear. Thank you. What are you going to do about it? He says, oh, I suggest you find your doctor back home tonight, the next few days, and have it operated on. They can put it back. He said, yeah, they can put it back. I said, I said, you got a week. You got a week. Okay. I'm booked Sunday in Asheville. So this is Florence, South Carolina. It's 180 miles to Asheville. So I know I'm not gonna have any money because there's no insurance covering me. I have to write a check. So I've saved my money up, got it saved up really good. They broke again. So I sit there, I get in the car the next morning. My arm is starting to turn dark because the blood is starting to pop up. It's starting to get a little dark.
Right.
So I drive all the way to Asheville, North Carolina. I get there. I'm going against a guy named Lee. And Lee says, what's up? So I said, hey, Lee, whatever you do, don't drop kick me. Because he loved to drop kick. He just loved it because he was a little guy. He wasn't a big guy. So we lock up, and it's like, oh, it's sore as can be. So we lock up, and I shoot him off. He ducks, and he cross body rides me. That didn't hurt too much. So I get up, and next thing you know, he comes up with a drop kick. Bam! I hit the ground, and this thing's like, oh, it's like it rocks. So I said, so I got him in a move, and he grabs my arm and twists it. Oh, no, Lee, don't do that. But he's doing things out of habit. You don't think, you just do it.
Yeah.
So finally, I pick him up and slam him. I hold him down. I held him down. He said, don't kick out. Don't kick out. He didn't kick out. I got out. I crawled out. I got in the car. I'm driving home. Well, I got a match Tuesday in Gaffney, South Carolina against the Rock and Roll Express. So I get there. It is now black. Whole arm's black. And I walk around the back. I knock on the door. Hey, look at what's up. Hey, Rick. Hey, Robert. How you doing? He said, listen, guy, do you a favor. I said, I've got y'all on TV. And I got a problem. And they go, oh, crap. What'd you do? I said, tore my pec. It's tender. It is so tender. I can't stand it. And he says, don't worry. Who you working with? This other guy. Oh, I don't know who that is. It's a rookie. He'll be in the ring the whole time. Don't worry about it. So I get up in the ring, and first thing we did, standing there, I'm just sweating because it's hurting. I'm like, oh, I can't stand this. So we get in the ring, I put my hand on the turnbuckle, and they start wrestling. Boom, boom, and they hit the ropes, and I realized the rope jerks a little bit. I'm like, I took my hand off the thing. I said, I'm not doing that no more. I'm holding with the wrong hand, right? And the kid's reaching out to tag me. And I'm like, my arm just got short all of a sudden. I just couldn't quite get it there. Like, yeah. So they kept him there and beat him. So I didn't have to get in the ring. And I said, because the experienced guy always goes first. And then the rookie guy comes in and says, yeah, you go ahead and start. So they threw him all over the place. And he thought it was great because he got thrown around all the time. So the match was, thank Ricky and them. So Thursday, I have surgery and had that thing repaired. And Doc said, yeah, we got it fixed. And so I said, I'll be. And that's shortly thereafter, I go to ask for the $1,500 loan. And I can't loan you no money. So, and that's when Dusty came in. I worked my way into refereeing for a year, and that helped me out to learn how to do the business. Because watching these guys, how do they know what to do? They communicate with their eyes. They don't even conversation. Give me 6 this. You never heard that. I was like, yeah. New Orleans, El Paso. So they do all these things by calling out plays like El Paso or something like that. Yeah, corner 2. Yeah, okay, I got it. Rick climbs up. He knows when Rick climbs up, what's going to happen. It's going to be a flip off. If he puts his hand in a certain spot, it's not going to be that. I'm like, that's why they've been doing this for 20-something years. They know what to do. And,
right.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm a rookie. So I'm just trying to learn how to fall down and not get hurt. So, but it was a good time. Yeah. Got plenty of stories to tell you about all the rookies and everything, but save it for another time. Huh?
Yeah, you're always welcome back. I had a great time tonight, sir.
2 hours, 17 minutes, and 30.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
Let's say you about 15 minutes with the good stuff.
No. I'm going to keep it all in there. I'll probably shorten the area where we're trying to figure out who Nick Bockwinkel was.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know.
Nick Bockwinkel. Yeah, Nick Bockwinkel. I'll give you a spot. Nick Bockwinkel. Amazing.
Gene,
I hope go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. I
hope your success is good. And,
thank you.
For you, make sure that good thoughts head your way. And you look like a good guy. And I played pickleball all day today, so my hair is all messed up.
I appreciate that. Why don't you tell everybody where you could be found?
Well, I've got my own little side hustle. If you go to let's see, GeneandTanya.com.
Okay.
That's my nutritional business. We have Facebook, Gene Ligon. We got Facebook site. You can go to Freeze Dry and More on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And that's where we bought a freeze dryer because, when you get old, you got to figure out what makes some extra money. I teach school, that pays me a good paycheck, but I'm sitting there with freeze drying candy. Takes Skittles, which Skittles, chewy, but you freeze dry them and they swell up like 4 times their size.
I saw this online the other day, actually. Yeah,
they crush in your mouth.
Yeah.
And freeze drying, you can keep things like meat and stuff like that for 20 years.
Yep.
And all you got to do is rehydrate it and cook it. And so we're doing that. We do mostly candy and stuff like that for events and stuff like that. When you sit there and sell 3 ounces of candy for $5, and it makes a little bit of profit. And but the time and effort you put into it takes a couple hours of letting it freeze dry. It's a remarkable process because it's all science. But you're sucking all the moisture out of something. You're freezing it, and then you heat it back up, and it's dry. It's like cardboard, but you stick it in a bowl, add water to it, like meat. And if you cooked it already, it'd be like cardboard. You add water to it, and it comes back to be like it was originally. Then you heat it up and cook it. On eggs, you can actually turn it to powder. And so you take 1 spoonful of egg, put it in a cup, put 2 spoonfuls of hot water, stir it up, heat it up. You got fresh eggs.
That's
And
amazing.
sometimes the way eggs went up to $6 and $7 a dozen.
Yeah.
You buy lots of eggs. They stay stored for 20 years, no problem whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about eggs rotting or anything like that. So
Right.
we've done a lot of candy. We're gonna start doing some eggs and stuff like that because prices ain't going back down anytime soon. So we got eggs down a little bit right now, but we go to a local guy that sells the eggs pretty cheap. So we're gonna do several dozen eggs and just you put them on a shelf. You don't have to refrigerate. Just put them on the shelf. What's that? It's 2 eggs. They give me 2 eggs, that'd be 4 tablespoons of hot water. Stir it up. Put a little microwave to it. There you go.
Boom. Wow. That's amazing. Well, I want to say thank you again, and we're going to definitely have to have you back and have you for some more stories.
Yeah.
All right.
I think of some more, and you'll probably bring up some memories of Australia and Japan, and get a hold of Stan Hansen. He'll tell you some good stories. So, but David Isaac was along the trip. He remembers a lot more stories than I do because David, good guy, one of the good guys. Sal Parente, you know Sal?
Sounds familiar.
Sal refereed a little bit when he started with Nelson Roll and them. Came down, and he was partner with me in my gym after he came down. I said, "Wants to be my partner and work here and stuff like that." He's a fount of knowledge as far as wrestling is concerned. He good friends with Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
Good friends with the Samoans, the originals.
Okay.
Very good friend. And so he might be a good contact for you. But he's a good guy. He's a little stiff, but if he thinks you're a good guy, you'll be fine. If he thinks you're not a good guy, he ain't gonna talk to you. But I'll contact him and say, I want to talk to this guy. He got a little spot, be a good thing, and you can tell some of your stories because he loves to talk about his stories.
I love to hear that. So we're always looking for more.
Yeah, so, and he's got some stuff that doesn't mean as much to me because I don't know the characters as much.
Right.
But your world that you're from,
he
was a young teenage kid, and the Samoans took a liking to him, and they brought him from. And they treat him like a son.
Wow.
He knows all those guys, and so I think it'd be a good contact for you. I'll email him and say, contact this guy because he does his own business right now down in Florida. And, but he wants to hear your stories. And I'm at Mike. What's he want to hear? I said, he wants to hear all about you and your wrestling stories. And he'll put it on. And he might jump. So that'd be a good lead for me.
Thank you. Hang in right there. Let me just press end. I have a question to ask you off air.